just give that team that little extra something to get them closer to improving their standings towards the playoffs.
The Oilmen have a head-to-head winning streak going against these Giants, but the Giants have been a team, as we've talked about, that have played close games.
It's really going to matter how the Oilmen can do against the Giants starting pitching, how quick they can get to the bullpen. That really seems to be the trend in these Oilmen-Giants games. Once the Oilmen get to the second or third pitcher from the American Giants, that's where they can really increase their runs and get closer to a win.
We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. Our pregame show continues after this. I'll run down the starting lineups, and we'll get you set for first pitch. It's the Oilmen and the Giants in just a little while. More pregame after this on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well, mouth desert, meet ice cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. That's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only one more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Back at Oil City Stadium, the lineup cards are being exchanged and ground rules are being discussed. That means one thing, that it's time for me to, in just a few moments, give you the starting lineups for tonight's game. That lineup card exchange taking place at home plate. It's Oilman manager Adam Enright delivering the lineup card for the Oilmen, and Dre Gilmore doing the duties for Chicago. Let's give you those starting lineups that are being presented at the plate, and let's start with the visitors from Chicago. Leading off and playing second base, Max Bullock. Batting second is center fielder Joshua Williams. Free hitter, field right. Batting up, Ryan Nelson. umpires are all set to work today's game. Patrick Coe is calling balls and strikes, and Paul Huff will make the decisions on the base pass. It's time for the anthem. Let's listen in live and join the play.
Of our national anthem.
Well-mouthed desert, meet ice-cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. Let's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home, the ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world, keep America's railroads on the right track, help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only one more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. BP's natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Back here at Oil City Stadium, just a minute or two away from baseball here this evening, and we maybe a second or two away from baseball as we get set for this ball game to commence. Tyler Pricing has completed his warm-up tosses. It's another beautiful night here in Whiting. It is clear, a few puffy white clouds in the sky, sunshine overhead, blue skies overhead as well, and the game time temperature is 84 degrees. Here's the motion. First pitch comes at 7:11, and it is taken for ball one outside. The count 1 ball and no strikes on Max Bullock, leading off for the Chicago American Giants, who have played 30 games this season, and they come into the ball game tonight with a record of 4-26. Here's a line drive the other way to left. That's a base hit. Bullock strokes a single to left, and we are underway with Tyler Pricing, who has been very good out of the Oilmen bullpen, making his second start of the season tonight.
Pricing's been someone who's been able to do a little bit of everything for the Oilmen this season, as we last time we saw him.
As Pricing, again, making his first start here tonight. And now stepping in will be Williams. With a game scoreless here in the first inning, Bullock shot one the other way to get things going. Here comes a pickoff throw to first. It's not in time. Diving back to the bag safely is Max Bullock. Here's the pitch taken for a strike called, I believe, and the count no balls and 1 strike. Scoreless game here in the opening inning. Williams hitting .260, left-handed batter facing Pricing. 0-1 the count. Here's a pickoff throw to first, and diving back in headfirst safely at first base is Bullock.
And Pricing served a lot of different roles for the Oilmen this season, being a good arm out of the bullpen. His last time out against these American Giants, he really spurred that very good bullpen effort where several different pitchers came in and really stole that win for the Oilmen, putting a lot of zeros up on the board. So now he gets to see what he can do out of the starting role today.
Here's a ball fisted foul back into the screen. The count no balls and 2 strikes on Williams. Bullock a single to get things going. But yeah, Pricing has earned this opportunity. He may have done a little bit of lobbying to get back in that starting rotation with manager Adam Enright and assistant coach Matt Vituli. And it's well deserved when you look at the way he has pitched. And so they obliged, and he is back in this role. No balls and 2 strikes, the count on Williams. This is swung on and lifted to left, and back on it is Hedrick. Hedrick is going to make the catch in deep left field for out number 1. But Pricing had made 1 start earlier in the year, but his overall numbers for the season, 0-1 on record, 188 ERA, 6 games, and 1 start, as I mentioned. 14 to third innings of work, 13 strikeouts, and 8 walks.
And he's been someone that you can trust to come in and work in some long relief options, too. There was that game against Southland where it was wild early on, but then you had Pricing come in and work 4 scoreless innings, allowing just 1 hit, striking out 4. He really calmed down that game and gave the Oilmen a chance to come back.
Here's a line drive into center. That's going to get down for a base hit. Right strokes a single to center, and now runners are going to be at first and second with 1 away, and that'll bring up Nelson.
And we'll see now how Pricing responds with the runners on base. You mentioned the American Giants records, but they have some good bats at the top of their order. Max Bullock, their leadoff hitter, one of the top guys in the leadoff spot league-wide. It was no surprise to see him get on base there. He really works pitchers well and can get some good contact.
1 out and 2 on now with Ryan Nelson standing in next, sitting .265. The cleanup hitter for Dre Gilmore as the Giants threaten right away after 2 singles in this opening inning. Here's a swing and a miss, and the count no balls and 1 strike on Nelson. Pricing have faced these Giants on July the 7th out of the bullpen, 2 1/3 innings, no runs, allowed 2 hits and 1 walk. He's been part of the reason the Oilmen bullpen has been so good, and there's been games like that one where the Oilmen have pieced together wins with 5 or 6 pitchers, and we'll talk more about that later. Here's a strike called on Nelson, Pricing ahead of him, 0-2.
And what makes Pricing such a nice guy to have come out of the bullpen is he can go those multiple innings, he can go long relief options, but then if you need a guy that can put up just 3 outs in a high leverage situation, he can do that as well. He's like a good piece to have, a Swiss Army knife coming out of the bullpen.
0-2 on Nelson. Pricing his 2nd start of the season and a little bit of an early jam, but the last 8 1/3 innings that he has worked, he has not allowed a run, and he's yielded just 4 hits in that spanning 4 different appearances.
And he's been able to keep the walks down too, so that means he's throwing a lot of strikes, but throwing a lot of stuff that batters are having a hard time putting the bat on as well.
Here's a swing and a little nubber left side foul, and it remains no balls and 2 strikes on Nelson.
Because Pricing doesn't seem to have the overwhelming velocity that a lot of strikeout pitchers have, but he just spots his pitches really well, has some good movement on him, and just does a good job of putting them in deceiving places for the hitters.
0-2, 2 on, 1 away. Nelson standing in a scoreless game in the opening inning. Pricing, a native of Mount Prospect, Illinois. Prospect High School grad of 2019, now playing at Aurora. Here comes the 0-2, low and outside for a ball, 1-2 from Pricing to Nelson.
Another thing to consider, a factor for Pricing on the mound, you're in a starting role rather than a bullpen role. You're also working with a new catcher for the first time, so that might be a feeling out process as well. Sure, you got some warm-up pitches, but now you're doing it for real for the first time, new pitcher and catcher, so you have to just kind of get that pattern figured out.
Yeah, Cuniff making his Oilman debut behind the plate. Here's a look at second from Pricing, and the 1-2 swung on and lined to center. This is going to be a shoestring catch by Hodges. Now he throws to second. It's offline and not in time, but he does make the catch. Hodges slides for it and corrals this one to retire Nelson for the 2nd out of the inning. Able to scamper back to second base safely was Bullock, but now 2 outs and 2 on.
A good grab out there in center field by Hodges. We normally see him play the corner outfield. This is one of the first times we've seen him in center this season, and he did a good job sliding for that going feet first so that if he did maybe lose the ball, he was still able to have something part of his body blocking it to prevent it from rolling too far away from him, but he just did a good job of getting the catch there.
Josh Carter with 2 outs and 2 on. Carter hitting a $192. Here's the first pitch to him. It's taken high for a ball. The pricing repertoire features a fastball, changeup, slider, and a curve. He, again, has made just one start. It was not his best outing. He went 4 innings, took the loss, 3 runs on 3 hits, and walked 3 against the Crestwood Panthers back on June the 7th. Here's the 1-0. Outside for a ball, 2 balls, and no strikes.
That was just a tough day for the Oilmen in general. That was one where they were on the verge of being no hit. So then when you weren't getting much run support, that puts even more pressure on a pitcher who's in a starting role for the first time.
2 balls and no strikes on Carter, right? It's a tough situation to come in, a close game, but one where you're getting 0 offense. The 2-0 is swung on and lifted in the air, pretty well hit. Hodges going back on this one. This is trouble, and it's going to be up against the wall as it rolls all the way onto the warning track. Coming in to score the game's first run is Bullock. Here's right around third. He scores. 2-run double. Josh Carter here with 2 outs in the opening inning, and the Giants strike first. They lead the Oilmen 2-0.
And that one was just a hard hit ball. It was put high in the air, and it looked like the wind kind of gave it that little extra push. Traveling further out to the warning track, it was hard for Hodges to get a jump on that one. That just went all the way to the track and allowed both of those runs to score with ease.
Cummings will stand in next. 2 in here in the opening frame for the Giants. It's Pricing. Here comes a swing and a line drive foul. We'll talk to Pricing's not only Oilman teammate, but college teammate Nick Hayden as he's going to drop by and join me today in the 3rd inning.
It'd be fun to hear. You always get a different perspective when you have a player up in the booth and just getting to hear some things that we might not notice from up here, but you notice from the field level.
No balls and a strike on Cummings. I have a feeling Hayden will be a good interview. Have a lot to say. No balls and a strike. Here comes the pitch to Cummins, taken high for a ball. The count 1-1. Gino Gazzillo is on deck if the inning gets that far, but the Oilmen are hoping to work out of it without further damage. Already 2 for the Giants in this opening inning. Again, this is a Giants team that goes out and competes. Here's the 1-1 swing and a foul in the count 1-2, as evidenced by the fact that they have 7 one-run losses this season.
I think that just speaks to how much of a buy-in there is amongst the players where, yes, you're 4-26, but yet you're playing close games. You're still going out there and giving it a fighting chance every night and just making it hard for opponents to give you those losses.
1-2 on Cummings. Yeah, I want to touch more on that here when we have a moment. Here's the 1-2, taken low and outside for a ball, 2-2. It can be really tough in the summer when your record isn't very good, but I have to give major credit to Dre Gilmore and the Giants, because they show up, they come out and compete every day. They always have a full lineup of players, and they always have pitching. They're not guys that aren't stopping showing up, and they're not having enough guys, that type of thing that sometimes we see when teams have records around 4-26 in this league. But they show up, they compete, they work hard, and they're out here to try to make improvements and get better over the course of the summer season. So even though their record isn't good, here's the payoff pitch. This is taken for strike 3 called. Out on strikes is Cummins, and the inning ends. Back to this when we come back. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 1 left. After a half, it's the Giants 2, and the Oilmen coming to bat on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
You hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NICA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Land of Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time. Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. These natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Kyle Tyler will lead off for the Oilmen here tonight as he stands in against Jeremiah Williams, the starting pitcher for the Chicago American Giants. Here comes the first pitch. It is taken inside for a ball on the count, 1 ball and no strikes. As we await the 1-0 pitch, here it comes to Tyler. It's taken on the outside edge for a strike, and the count evens at 1-1. But it's been again, good to see, Leo, the Giants just find a way to compete regardless of their record. Here's a swing and a miss, and the count 1-2. I've really been impressed with a lot of things we've seen from them this season.
Especially in these games here at Oil City Stadium. They always seem to come out really competitive, really match the Oilmen punch for punch in the early rounds of this game. And you just always know when the Giants are going to come to town that it's going to be a close game.
1-2 swing and a miss, strike 3. Tyler is out on strikes. And tonight's no exception. There have been games where the Giants have come in here and set an early tone, and they scored twice in the top of the first.
Yeah, and it's always the matter of you can't take a team too lightly in this league, and we're seeing it with the Giants where they just play everybody tough. And it's not just the Oilmen. They've had some close games against the Corn Dogs or the Vikings, the other top teams in the league, and they just make themselves a really tough team to beat and keep up with because they have a good mix of hitting and pitching, but just the record isn't where they want it. But you can still see them past the All-Star break, giving it their all still.
Hodges takes a strike call on the count 0-1. Yeah, again, I've never seen a team with that record in this league still bringing it quite the way that they have. So I've been impressed with that aspect. Here's the 0-1 to Hodges. It swung on and fouled back to the screen. The count is no balls and 2 strikes. 2-0 in favor of the Giants. They scored twice on a 2-out double by Josh Carter against Tyler Pricing in the top of this first inning. Tyler struck out a moment ago. Kyle Tyler, that is. And now Hodges standing in with an 0-2 count against Jeremiah Williams. Williams pitched against the Joliet Generals back on July the 16th. 2 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, and he walked 2. 5'10", 175 from Chicago. Graduate of TF North, the 0-2, swinging a ground ball to the left side. This is scooped up by Nelson, and his throw to first is going to be offline and safe at first base as Hodges on a throwing miscue by the Giant shortstop.
And that was a big break for the Oilmen to catch there, and good credit to Hodges there, hustling down the line. So when there was that miscue, he was able to get into first base safely, that he hustled down the line and so made that a chance to try to make the play there.
Now it's Anthony Fumagalli standing in next. After the E6 allows Hodges to reach first safely. He's being held at first by Horn as Williams takes a look at him, and now will uncork a pickoff throw with Hodges diving back in head first safely.
And now we'll get a look at how Williams pitches out of the stretch, because when he's in the windup, he takes that long pause, and that seems to be maybe throwing the hitters off a little bit because it throws off your timing when he kicks that leg out. Now we see him just go straight towards the plate. But in the windup, he has that long pause when he puts his leg back and then kind of comes to a stop and then goes forward with the rest of his windup. But that's tough for a hitter to try to get a feeling for.
First pitch strike to Fumagalli, the count 0-1. Yeah, you're right. Sometimes that unusual motion can make it difficult to time up. And speaking of timing, trying to time him up right as Hodges at first base as Williams again keeps him close. See if Hodges is perhaps in motion at any point. Williams keeping a close eye on him. Here comes the 0-1 to Fumagalli. Swinging a foul, fisted back to the screen. The count 0-2.
Fumagalli, another player who's joined the Oilmen later in the season, could provide them a boost. Someone who's played for the team before, played some really good games in the playoffs for them last season. Could be someone that could really help them out down the stretch now as he's trying to take his baseball career to the next level.
0-2 on Fumagalli. Hodges again being held by Horn. Here comes the 2-strike pitch. This is outside for a ball, 1-2. Oilmen have made a few additions. Again, 3 new faces in the lineup. One is in the on-deck circle, and that is the first baseman today, Brennan Phillips. then Joe Cuniff, the catcher, and Colin Hedrick. Here's a wild pickoff throw to first. Now trying to move to second is Hodges, and he will safely. It's the second error by the Giants here in this opening inning as Hodges moves into scoring position after the throwing error by Williams.
And we've seen in games the Oilmen where they're really not hitting the ball well, but where they can really take advantage of errors, play that small ball aspect where if you're going to give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. So we'll see if the Oilmen can try to put a run up on the board as a result of those two errors, now putting Hodges in scoring position with just one away.
1-2 on Fumagalli. And we'll see if he can find a way to, as Leo mentioned, drive in Hodges. 2-0 in favor of the Giants as we play the last of inning number 1. Here's the 1-2. This is swung on and lifted foul off to the right out of play, and it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's where base running and speed can play a factor even if you're not attempting a steal, as Williams was preoccupied with Hodges' 2 or 3 or 4 pickoff throws and eventually threw one away.
Well, yeah, that threat just forces the pitcher to think about you, forces them to consider you, and then when he was making that maybe rushed throw over to first base, he threw it a little bit off the mark, and that allows Hodges then to move 90 feet.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Fumagalli. Here's the 1-2. This is swung on and bounced to the left side. This is picked up by Carter. His throw across the diamond is going to be not in time. Safe at first is Fumagalli, and advancing to third on the throw is Hodges. Fumagalli had this beat out. This was actually a tough play, and he gets a base hit. Going to third, though, on a throwing error is Hodges. He would have held it second on this play, and then he goes to third on the wild throw.
That was one where Fumagalli was probably going to beat it, even if there was a good throw, because we saw it was hit hard, and it forced Carter to kind of do that spin move over at third base, and that gave Fumagalli a lot of extra time to get down the line. And that throw, when by the time it was made, he was a few steps away from the bag anyway.
But not running originally was Hodges, so that's why there's also an error on the play as he gets to third. Now here's a ground ball towards second, could be 2. Bullock goes to second 1. The relay throw to first is in time, and that's a double play. Just like that, 4-6-3, and the inning ends. The Oilmen, no runs, 1 hit, and 1 runner left on base. The Giants survived 3 errors in that first inning. After 1, Giants 2, Oilmen nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
I am a success. I am the future.
I am.
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 I am Ivy Tech Community College. Are you?
You guys are crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in Land of Frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted, bread. Cheese, 10 more. Go.
I'm getting shredded. Make the smart choice. Land of Frost premium meat.
These natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Hey fans, coming up on July the 22nd, that's right, it's this Friday night. It is Police and Fire Appreciation Night at Oil City Stadium, and it's sponsored by our friends at BP Whiting. As part of the 7-10 game against the Joliet Generals, it is a situation where if you're a part of a police or fire department in Northwest Indiana, you can receive free tickets while supplies last for the entire department. Now you can go to NWIOilman.com to purchase tickets today and come out and support those members of those police and fire departments in our region. It's our community heroes, police and firemen, being celebrated on Friday night as the Oilmen take on the Joliet Generals. Here's a pitch that's taken outside for a ball. The count 1 ball And no strikes on the leadoff batter in the inning, Gino Gazzillo, as Pricing will try to bounce back and put a 0 on the board. Here comes a swing and a miss. The count evens at 1-1.
So Pricing did give up the 2 runs in the first inning, but at least the plus side of that was he was throwing a lot of strikes. He wasn't missing the zone by much. He was just allowing those hits, and that's still something you can kind of live with if you're a pitcher. It means you're still putting stuff in the zone. You're not really being wild or walking a ton of batters and putting yourself behind the 8 ball in that type of way.
This is high for a ball. I believe actually that first pitch of this at-bat, by the way, I believe was called a strike, so I think we're now at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Umpire's strike call is a little subtle in front of his body. Here's a tapper back to the mound. This is going to be picked up by Pricing, and his throw to first is going to be just in time to nip a hustling Gazzillo at first base as the play goes 1-3 for the first out of the second inning.
And that was a good heads-up play by Pricing to leave the mound and pick that up, because that was hitting a weird spot where it was going to be tough for Cuniff, the catcher, to get up and chase after that one. So he had to charge in on it, get it, and just get it there barely in time for out number 1.
Horn coming up next in spring training. Here's a swing and a drive to left. Coming in on it is Hedrick, and it's going to fall for a base hit. A flare in front of the left fielder, Hedrick. Horn has the 4th Giant hit of the day, and it's only the second inning. That'll bring up Walker.
And these hits maybe aren't scorched line drives. They're kind of plays like that where there's these high balls that get up in the air, drop between players. Well-placed hits, but hits nonetheless, and they've started to add up a little bit.
Yeah, Pricing trying to thrive in that starting role. He wants to start when he goes back to Aurora, so it was important to him to at least get a few starts this summer and to try to show an ability to go deep in games. Here's a pitch to Walker. It's a strike. Now there'll be some transition with that, with this being his first start in quite some time. But this is important to him to get the opportunity to be on the mound in a starting role. So this is a big outing for Pricing today. Here's the 0-1. This is swung on and fouled over our heads, 0-2.
That's one of the big things summer ball is for players to work on elements of their games they want to improve. We see that sometimes where a player who may be a shortstop tries the outfield, or might be a corner outfielder tries the middle infield or something, where players can work on things they want to work on. And it's no different for pitchers, too, to be used in different roles or try different pitches than you normally throw in your college season just to try to boost your workload here.
Here's the 0-2, high and in for a ball, 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Trey Walker.
And you said it earlier that Pricing has certainly earned the opportunity to try starting. He's been one of the most trusted relievers on the team, so for him to get this opportunity could be big for him.
This is crushed to left, pretty well hit. Hedrick going back on it. He's going to watch it hit off that scoreboard in left. It's extra bases, and actually it's going to be a long single. When something is crushed over the head of the outfielder, you think extra bases, but Walker is held to a single because of that brick monster in left. In fact, it hit right off the scoreboard, and Hedrick gets it back in. So a long single, back-to-back base hits. Now runners at first and second with 1 away.
And that's one of the things that playing left field in this park, you have to get a feel for the monster. I don't know if our crowd might picked up that thud that came from the ball hitting the scoreboard there, but we saw Hedrick then had to try to get under it, play it off the bounce, and make that throw in and keep the runner at just first base.
Left-handed batting, Max Bullock singled and scored his first time. He taps one foul right side, and the count 0-1. Walker held to a single on a ball that was crushed off the brick monster in left, and that goes the same way in the scorebook as some of the soft singles for the Giants so far in this one.
And that was one, too, where it looked like Walker probably thought he had the home run there, too, and maybe wasn't hustling it out as if he was going for 2 or 3 there. So just had to watch that go off the scoreboard.
Here's a strike called, and the count 0-2 on Bullock. Runners take their leads at first and second, 1 out, 2-0 in favor of the Giants as we play inning number 2. Here's a 2-strike pitch. Swing and a ball lifted high in the air, foul left side and out of play. And this will be on to the grassy berm area, and a young fan will motor after it. But yeah, that's part of just getting used to playing here at Oil City Stadium.
And one thing to consider for the left fielders is the ball seems to take a different type of bounce off of the scoreboard than it does the brick. So that's another thing you have to consider is paying attention to where it hits, because that ball might take a different ricochet off depending on where.
2-strike pitch is swung on and flared to center. Williams coming in, going out. Nelson, no play for either. Here's the throw toward third. It's going to be not in time. Safe at third base. is Horn, so it goes as a base hit. It's a bloop single for Bullock. I actually identified the players incorrectly. There was Fumagalli going out and Hodges coming in, and it turns into a third straight hit. So they're getting hits all different ways, crushing it off the brick monster and left, and then a bloop that falls between the Oilman shortstop and center fielder.
That was just another well-placed single there because it forced Fumagalli to come pretty far away from his position at shortstop, almost colliding with Hodges out in center field. So that took away him potentially being a relay man, too, for a throw to either of the bases.
Everybody moves up 90 feet, and now Horn at third, Walker at second. First pitch here is a strike, and the count is 0-1 on Williams. Bullock, a bloop single a moment ago. He stands at first base. Here's the 0-1, swing and a miss, and the count now 0-2. It would be a good time for a strikeout for Tyler Priceson.
He was able to get one to end the first inning, got one looking. That was important for him. De-escalated a threat, and now he's looking to just get a couple of outs here to end this inning number 2.
6 hits already for the Chicago American Giants. Oilmen have won 5 straight head-to-head meetings, and they've won 5 of the 6 meetings this year. The 0-2 high for a ball, 1-2. But again, 3 of the 5 Oilmen wins have been one-run games.
And a lot of those come from late inning comebacks, too, where the Giants do get ahead early, and the Oilmen have to fight from behind.
1-2 on Williams. Base is full of Giants. Here's the 1-2. Taken high for a ball. We go even at 2-2.
Williams in the box here has 8 RBIs on the season. He's looking to try to increase that by a couple here, as if he puts one in the gap, that could allow for some of that speed on the base paths that they have to get in.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. This is swung on and lifted in the air towards center. Will it be deep enough to score a run? I think it will. Hodges is under it. He gloves it. Tagging from third is Horn. He will score. Here's the throw to third. It's not in time on a close play. Walker slides in safely at third as both runners advance. Holding it first is Bullock. It's a sacrifice fly for Williams, and it goes as his 9th run batted into the season, and the Giants have expanded the lead. It's 3-0 here in the second.
That was a good decision by Hodges to realize that he probably wasn't going to be able to get to the runner at home in time and try to go for the runner at third. That throw just went a little bit behind Cosenza, so he had to reach back, make that, and then go reach in front of him to apply that tag, and that fraction of a second was probably what cost him the tag there.
Marcus Wright takes ball 1. 3 early runs for the Giants, and as Leo mentioned, the Oilmen have been no stranger to playing from behind against the Chicago team, and they've done it successfully. Here the runner goes, pitch, swing, and a miss. No throw to second base. It's a stolen base for Bullock. Now a base hit would drive in a pair, but the pitch was swung on and missed by Wright, and the count goes to 1-1.
Now for Pricing, you're just 1 out away from getting out of this. You're just trying to do what you can to minimize the threat here and get your bats back up as quick as you can.
Here's another swing and a miss. Chasing one in the dirt was Wright, and the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Three 3-0 Giants as we play inning number 2. 2 outs and 2 strikes. Pricing trying to minimize the damage. It's the final matchup of the year between these two teams. Here's the 1-2. This is swung on and popped up. Foul territory. This is going to be Cosenza underneath it. He gloves it, and the inning ends. The Giants get 1 run on 3 hits and 2 left. After an inning and a half, it's the Giants 3 and the Oilmen nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Don't go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an ironworker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Joe Cosenza will lead off the second inning for the Oilmen. 3-0 in favor of the Giants as we take it to the bottom of the second. Say hello to Tony Dybel, who is watching from home tonight. We normally have her out at the ballpark and look forward to having her back tomorrow night. Here's a pitch taken for a strike and the count 0-1. And I'm told she may or may not have gifts for you and I, Leo, when she returns to the ballpark tomorrow. So we have that to look forward to when we come out to the yard tomorrow night.
All right.
Here comes the 0-1, swinging a grounder foul left side, but we wish her the best and hope she's feeling well and will be good to go tomorrow night. 0-2 the count here on Cosenza. Speaking of well wishes and congratulations, something I want to mention here before we go any further. After this 0-2 pitch, so I guess we'll go a little further first. Here comes the 0-2. This is swung on and fouled back to the screen. I want to congratulate David Bork, who is going to lead the communications efforts at Lewis University in Romeoville. David has been with us for many years here as part of our broadcast team and our Oilmen team overall, and has worked with us since 2014. But David's moving on from IU Northwest, and he's headed to Lewis, and we congratulate him on his new position as he enters the next chapter of his career. Here comes the 0-2. This is swung on and grounded foul left side. It remains 0-2 on Cosenza. David and James Dorr with us as well. Brandon and Leo with you tonight. Got the A-team as we bring you the Oilmen and the Giants on the Oilmen Broadcasting Network. 0-2 the count on Cosenza here from Williams, as Williams comes back and winds for the 0-2 pitch. It's outside for a ball, 1-2.
Back on June 15th, Cosenza drove in 2 RBIs and had 2 hits against these American Giants. He's hoping to pick some of that up as of late. He had a good game last time out, too, against Southland with 3 hits in that one, so he's looking to pick up where he left off.
Here's a little tapper back to the mound, barehanded by Williams. The throw to first is in time. This was an impressive play by Williams to barehand this behind the mound to the shortstop side of the mound. He grabs it and throws in time to first to get Cosenza for the first out of the inning.
And a lot of people discount the fielding ability of pitchers, but Williams there just earned some wins above replacement points there as he was able to step off the mound, grab that on the bare hand almost while he was pivoting too, and just throw it over almost in a consistent motion there too. Really good play by the right-hander.
Josh Cuniff will bat. The first pitch is a strike to him. Plainfield Central, his high school alma mater, has gone to St. Charles Community College. He has been added as a catcher for this Oilmen team. Here comes the 0-1. Swinging a ground ball left side. Tricky hop over the glove of Carter. It's a base hit. Cuniff grounds one that bounces past Carter. Difficult play. And it goes as a single into left. And the Oilmen get their second hit of the day here in inning number 2.
And that was a little skipper down the line there by Cuniff, and it just took a hop right by the third baseman, Carter. He tried to put the glove over it, but it just took that redirection up and into the outfield. And that's the type of play the Oilmen just need to try to keep going here. Getting those base hits, doesn't matter how you get them, but as long as you're putting guys on, it's giving you that threat to score and cut into this 3-run deficit.
Hedrick standing in next. Williams has not had the benefit of great defense behind him today, and the first pitch to Hedrick is a strike. Another new Oilman, Kane Hedrick, a left fielder, a graduate of Providence Catholic High School. And speaking of Lewis, he goes to Lewis University.
He'll be working closely with David possibly next season with the Flyers.
Here's the 0-1, swinging a grounder foul left side, 0-2.
Lewis, known for their aviation program. We'd do a track meet out there every year when I was in high school, and it was cool to see the planes coming and going on campus. One of the unique aspects about their Romeoville campus is their aviation school.
Yes. They called one game there, the Oilmen and the Will County Cracker Jacks. Very high press box. I don't know if it's still like that at their baseball facility. They remodeled according to a source close to the program. We've just received this update. 0-2 on Hedrick. But Andy Schultz and I called a game there in 2012, and it was about 100 degrees. There's a throw to first not in time, at least in the press box. I don't know about down on the field of play, but I recall that being the hottest I've ever been calling an Oilmen game. But I understand they've remodeled, and now things will be much more pleasant there. Here comes the two-strike pitch, swing and a miss by Hedrick, and the batter is retired. He tried running down to first, but with first base occupied, the drop third strike not in play. That's the second out of the inning before Chaz Clark comes up next.
A good pitch by Williams there, going low in the zone, forcing Hedrick to try to golf at that, go with a big undercut. Just wasn't able to catch up to it and match that up, and that resulted in strike 3. Now we'll see Clark come in the box here. His last game out against Southland was when we saw him put one over the fence. Had a little pop with his first home run of the season, so we'll see if he can carry on where he left off there.
2 outs and a runner at first. First pitch is a strike call, and the count is 0-1 on Chaz Clark. Clark getting 243. Left-handed batter standing in against Williams. The 0-1 swing and a miss, and now it's 0-2. Giants out hitting the Oilmen early, 6-2. 6 hits for the Giants in the first 2 innings. 2 outs and 2 strikes here. Here comes the 2-strike pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Williams strikes out back-to-back batters to end the frame. No runs, a hit, and a man left. We've played 2. Giants 3, Oilmen nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied, and always working to be better. BP's natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Back here at Oil City Stadium, we take it to the third, Giants 3 and the Oilmen nothing. Brenna Vickery back with you, and now glad to be joined up here in the booth by Oilmen pitcher Nick Hayden. Nick, thanks for dropping by, and welcome to this vantage point at Oil City Stadium.
Of course, Brandon. I've always wanted to be up here actually viewing it live, you know, from up in this view. I see it at home every now and then, so it's pretty fun.
Ryan Nelson is going to lead off for the Giants. We're going to talk to Nick over the course of this inning as Pricing goes into his motion. First pitch is taken for a strike. Well, Beck, for your second summer with the Oilmen, what's the vibe like around the team this year? What's the experience been like?
I mean, honestly, it's been a lot of fun. We got a lot of good guys in the ball club this year. You got guys from all over different division levels, NAIA, D3, D2, D1, JUCO guys. So, I mean, it's just a cool experience every single year to get that kind of thing out of the summer.
No balls and 2 strikes here on Nelson from Pricing. Do you have a, whether it's last year or this season, a favorite Oilman moment? Here comes the 0-2. It swung on and cracked to left center. Back on it is Hodges. Hodges will make the catch and medium deep left center for the first out of the inning. But what comes to mind, whether it's related to a game or just something that's happened around the team?
I mean, honestly, like this year it's been kind of cool. We have how many walk-offs this year now?
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. 5 different times there have been walk-offs here at Oil City Stadium, 4 Oilman games plus the All-Star game.
Yeah, so I mean that's probably one of the things that always comes to mind. It's like it's cool to see a bunch of guys that really don't know each other and coming together and getting a walk-off, because you don't really see that too much during your regular school year, and let alone the summer ball league. It makes it kind of cool experience to be around.
Let's talk about the summer you've been having on the mound. You've been so effective out of the bullpen again, part of a really good and deep Oilman bullpen this summer that's been one of the strengths of the team. Here's the 0-1 from Pricing to Carter. It's high for a ball. What's led to your success?
I mean, honestly, like a couple weeks ago, I realized I was like, hey, I just need to go out there, have a lot of fun. You know, baseball is supposed to be fun. You know, you play for the guys around you, so as long as you're having fun, good things are going to come from it, in my mind.
1-1 low and outside, 2-1. And it seems like you've settled into a role late in games, and in many cases closing out games. Do you like that back-end role that you've had quite a bit this summer?
Yeah, I mean, I had that role a little bit last summer, too, towards the end of the summer. I really enjoy it because, like, it just kind of feels like I'm Liam Hendricks out there on the mound. He's become one of my favorite pitchers, obviously being a White Sox fan like I am. But, you know, it's just cool to be in that kind of aspect, thinking I am like Liam Hendricks some nights.
We'll talk about Tyler Pricing with you here as well. 3 balls and a strike on Carter. Here's the 3-1 from Pricing, swung on and lifted in the air, right side shallow. Coming in, Clark racing in. He lays out for it, can't make the catch. This falls in for a base hit, and Carter's going to end up at second base with a bloop double. That comes with 1 away here in the 3rd. It's the 7th Giant hit of the game, but Pricing has had a tremendous summer out of the Oilman bullpen mostly as well, getting his 2nd start of the summer here tonight. But you know him well. What's your relationship like with him, and what's he been going through in terms of the way he's pitched this summer?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of cool. Like Tyler and I were talking about it earlier, like we're roommates. So every single game we come to, we're always driving together. So it's always a fun experience with that. Tyler's a great guy. Obviously put in some roles here this summer that I can see himself easily filling in at Aurora this year, whether it be starting, middle relief, kind of that setup role. I know he had 1 close, too. So, like, he's been in a lot of spots where I can see him being in a big part of our Aurora club this year.
1 ball, no strikes on Cummings here. 1 out and a runner at second. Runner goes, pitch is fouled back to the screen. Back to second will go Carter as the count is 1-2. What are his strengths out there when you think about your friend and roommate and teammate Pricing?
Honestly, I think his biggest strength is when he tells himself he's going to dominate, because he can dominate. He's got that weird arm slot that not a lot of guys have. You know, I'm more over the top. He's almost a sidewinder sometimes. So that arm slot, when he tells himself he's going to dominate, he'll go out there and he'll do it. I know you guys saw that plenty this summer so far.
1-1. Big lead at second for Carter. And now delivering on a balk, I think it may have been called here. It was just time called. Maybe time was called?
Just time, yeah.
Okay. 1 ball and 1 strike on Cummins. 3-0 in favor of the Giants as we play inning number 3. But we're visiting with Nick Hayden here in the booth on the Oilman Broadcasting Network. The Oilman pitcher has stopped by. I figured early in the game would be a safe time to talk to you. Here comes the 1-1. This is taken low and outside for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Let's talk about Adam Enright. He takes over as Oilman manager this season. He played for the team with TJ Merrick, who is a friend of Adam's a year ago. What has that transition been like to have Adam take the helm?
I mean, honestly, like Adam and TJ, they're a lot alike in the same ways. TJ coached underneath Adam when they were at Missouri Valley together. So it's kind of interesting to see. I said to Adam early on, I was like, you know, TJ did that same thing. He's like, well, where did TJ learn it?
And stealing third base here is Carter. Close play at third, but Paul Huff, the base umpire, said he slid in safely. Some of the Oilman fans begged to differ. The count 3-1 on Cummings. But go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie, you know, it's kind of a different atmosphere. TJ was more of like an out there going after guys and trying to get on guys to do everything they can. And Enright just kind of sits there, he watches, and he tells guys, he breaks things down for them. Like early on in the summer.
Here's a swing and a fly ball to left. Hedrick's going to make the catch, tagging at third Carter, and coming in to score will be Carter. Cummings lifts the sacrifice fly. The Giants add a run. It's 4-0 in favor of the Giants here in the third. But go ahead, you were talking about Adam.
Yeah, so it's been kind of cool because like he's a very intelligent baseball mind. He'll break things down like I've never heard broken down before. Like I had been telling Tyler for 3 years now about one of the things I think he's been doing weird in his windup, and Enright broke it down for him a different way, and he's like, you know what, now it makes sense. And I'm like, wow, that's all it took was just talking to Enright. So it's kind of cool to hear a different viewpoint from a baseball mind like him.
Gino Gazzillo stands in and looks at a strike, and the count 0-1. 2 outs, and the base is clear now. The Giants have scored in each inning. They lead 4-0 here in the early going. But, Nick, this is a spot that the Oilmen have been familiar with. There's a swing and a foul, especially against the Giants, and had the ability to come from behind. What has that been like to be a part of some of these comeback wins?
It's been interesting because, sometimes you'll see me coaching first base. Sometimes I'll just be a guy in the dugout. So it's kind of interesting seeing our guys, like, just go after it. Like I said earlier, you don't always see a bunch of guys, like, that don't know each other as well, that don't play in the league with each other as long that can do that. So it's kind of interesting just to see them all break it down and slow the game down and then pull from behind. It's been awesome to be a part of.
This is fouled at the plate. The count, no balls and 2 strikes on Gazzillo. 4-0 Giants. Here comes the 0-2 outside for a ball. 1-2. One and two on Gino Gazzillo. 4-0 Giants in third. Here's the 1-2. It's outside for a ball, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So how does Oil City Stadium from this vantage point compare to down there?
It's a lot different because, like I said, I watch the games a lot when I'm at home, when I'm not out here, and I'll watch it online. It's like I can see that, but now I'm seeing in the daylight from out here. It's a beautiful landscape. You can't really beat it. You don't get too many. I mean, it's an oil rig, obviously, but it's still kind of cool to see when it lights up at night for sure.
Sure, it's unique to Northwest Indiana, a one-of-a-kind backdrop, as this is grounded foul to count 2-2. And playing here, I think, is a big part of what attracts players like you to play with the Oilmen, in some cases for multiple years.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah. I mean, like, when TJ shot me a phone call last year, I was like, yeah, I mean, I love playing at the stadium. I'm a fan of the mound. You play somewhere that's that consistent every single day. It's always a lot of fun to be a part of.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 4-0 in favor of the Giants. Let's see if Pricing can limit the damage to 1 run here in this third inning. Here comes the 2-2. It's outside for ball 3. We go full at 3-2. So you think about transitioning back to school ball. What are some things you want to take away from this summer, or what are kind of your thoughts as you look ahead to your upcoming year?
Yeah, I mean, I know I mentioned you on the phone when we did our preseason interview.
There's a bouncing ball towards second. Tyler can't make the play. This will be an error on the Oilman second baseman. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, so it's definitely, like I told you on the phone early on, I don't know if you remember or not, but I told you I was developing that curveball and really working past the injury that I had. So, I mean, it's been a lot of fun this summer. I feel healthy. I feel ready to go. The stuff's moving like it used to before. I know playing with Dom and Tyler and then Nico for a short stint of time, it's been cool to hear them say, hey, like, this is what we thought you were going to look like. So it's been a lot of fun to get back to that point and really have those guys behind me now as well as the rest of these Oilmen guys.
There's a swing and a miss. This ball bounces away. Wild pitch advancing to second safely is Gazzillo, and a runner into scoring position. 4-0 in favor of the Giants as we play inning number 3, but no balls and a strike. The count on Horn. Who's maybe the biggest character on the team, or who's the guy that's likes to have a lot of fun in the dugout?
Honestly, I love being around Jason Hodges. He was here for a week or 2 last summer. I got to know him pretty all right last year, and then seeing him around this year, being the whole summer with him. He's a guy that I could see myself hanging out with for years down the line. I'd say he's been one of my better friends this summer, and he's one of those guys that just kind of lights up and ignites the dugout. So.
Yeah, what is it about baseball where it seems like guys can be together for just a short period of time, some games over the course of the summer, but a lot of times lifelong friendships come out of summer ball?
Yeah, it's just because it's such a grueling time. Like, you played a whole, anywhere from 40 to 60 game season at college, and then you're coming out here and you're really working to try and get better. Honestly, like, I think there's 2 things about summer ball that I enjoy the most is that you're working to get better with also guys that are looking to get better too, and you do build that kind of brotherhood.
Here's a 2-1 lifted to right there to make the catch is Clark, and the inning ends. Well, do you want to do the bottom of the third, or you need to head back?
I can hang around a little bit.
Well, we'll keep Nick for another half inning. He'll come back with me for the bottom of the third. 4-0 in favor of the Giants, and we'll be back with more after this on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
BP's natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
BP's natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Colin Horniman leads off for the Oilmen here in the bottom of inning number 3. Still visiting with Oilmen pitcher Nick Hayden. 4-0 in favor of the Giants as we take it to the last of the third. We had asked you before about some of the characters in the dugout or guys that put a smile on your face. We'd started at the end of the last half inning talking about the uniqueness of baseball, where there's kind of a fraternity, and part of it is you're able to get to know new guys over the summer. But with players in this league being from the Midwest and from Illinois and Indiana specifically, by and large, there's a swing and a foul, and the count 0-1 on Horniman. There's a lot of familiarity where you, of course, have Pricing and other guys that you play with during the year, but also guys that you've played with and against in the past, and kind of everyone knows everyone in this league.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like, I know I mentioned Hodges earlier, but he was the guy that went to Marist High School, and I went to St. Lawrence, and when I was a senior, he was a junior, and that was the only time we played Marist. So it was like I knew the name, and then when I got to see the face and meet the person behind it, it's kind of cool how that comes full circle like that.
Here's the 0-2 to Horniman, taken low for a ball, and the one thing new to the league this year is you get a few guys who are a little older beyond their college years, and a guy like Chris Baker around the team is trying to continue his career professionally. Here's the set and the leg kick for the 1-2 to Horniman. Swung on and lifted foul off to the right, out of play. It stays at 1-2. But what's it like to see someone like Baker interact with some of the younger players on your team that are maybe incoming college freshmen?
Yeah, so I mean, it's cool to be around Baker, even for myself, being 22, almost 23. But he always sits down and he'll talk with some of the guys that are younger guys whenever they'll let him, and he'll be like, "Hey, you're doing this. I think you should try this." And then they go out there and they try it, and it's a night and day difference. It's crazy to think about, like, a 26-year-old that's, again, not too much older than me, being able to break down swings like that and just break down every little thing and help guys. I think it's been a beneficial thing for the league all around. I would like to see more of it, honestly, across all the teams come next year.
The one appeal to the league that's kind of been a constant throughout the years is the chance to play close to home. A lot of the players in the league are from Illinois and Indiana. For fans, it's a chance to see talent that they're familiar with from this area. But what's it been like? What are the advantages of being able to stay close to home while you play during the summer?
Honestly, for me personally, it's been able to have that that social life that you don't necessarily get, like hanging out with those friends you don't see all year from high school. You're able to work, you're able to do all those little things, and you're able to spend time with your family too. Sometimes guys go away so far away where they see their family at Thanksgiving time and at Christmas time, and it's like, the summertime is that time that you get to pick up that lost time. So I think that's probably one of the best parts about being in this league is like being close to home, and you're able to do all those little things that mean a lot to you more than you know.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Horniman. 4-0 in favor of the Giants. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. It's swung on and fisted right side foul. No play for Horn, the first baseman who went over to take a look. And it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Visiting with Nick Hayden from the Oilmen bullpen. And I think it's always an exciting thing. You talked earlier, we talked about the closer's role, but when someone embraces that role, we've seen it with the Oilmen over the years. Matt Poperico is the first that comes to mind, and he's reached as high as AAA after his great career as the Oilmen closer for 2 seasons. Here's a 2-2 ground ball toward third. This is picked up by Carter as toss across the diamond is in time to nip a hustling Horniman for the first out of the 3rd inning. But when someone embraces the closer's role and really has the right makeup for that role, it's fun to watch, and I think we've seen that from you this summer.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the whole concept of a closer is a guy that's going to go in there and knows that like he's going to get outs, he's going to shut the door. Even if it's like, sometimes you see Hendricks go in with being down 1 run in the top of the 9th just to give himself a chance. Like he knows that like, hey, that's his role, that's where he should expect to be, and he knows by like the 6th, 7th inning he's starting to get loose, and then by the 9th he's in. So I think that's kind of cool thing to just know every single game that I'm doing that. So
Tyler swings and misses. I talked with Adam Enright about this. It seems to me, here comes the 0-1, swing and a miss, the count 0-2. A lot of times when you see 4, 5, or 6 pitchers pitch in a game, somebody's going to have a bad day, and it's going to be overall a bad day when you give up that 5-run inning. But that hasn't been the case for the Oilmen this summer, and you've been involved in a lot of these where you've pieced it together with 4 or 5 pitchers in a game, and it's turned into a situation where you hold the opposition to a run or 2. Here comes the 2-strike pitch, grounded foul. How has that worked this summer for the Oilmen pitching staff?
I mean, honestly, like we've had starters that have gone out there and they've done a great job. They just work some counts where they get their pitch count up, and obviously it's summer ball, so you're not going to expect a guy to go out there throwing 100, 110 pitches. Like most of our starters go like 70, 85 pitches pretty much all the time. So knowing that we have arms in the bullpen that you can trust and that can come in and shut the door for 4, 5, even sometimes 6 innings, like it's a great thing to be a part of because it just gives us all confidence that hey, we're gonna be in every single game that we play.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Kyle Tyler from Williams. Visiting with Nick Hayden here in the bottom of the 3rd on the Oilman Broadcasting Network. The 1-2 is taken outside for a ball, 2 balls and 2 strikes. As the count goes to even on Tyler, the Oilmen trying to break through, being out hit 7-2 here in this one. But again, a lot of these games against the Giants have followed this pattern. Here comes the 2-2. This is high and in for a ball. But as a pitcher watching Williams, the pitcher for the Giants tonight, what stands out to you?
I mean, honestly, he commands the zone. I think he's thrown maybe 4 or 5 balls the entire night. Like that's through 2 1/3 innings. That's kind of crazy to think about. But he controls the zone. He mixes everything up, and like that windup that he has, it reminds me a lot of like Johnny Cueto, what he does to mess up hitters. And it definitely seems like it's done a number to our guys so far. And I commend him for that.
Yeah, first walk of the day he issues here to Tyler on a payoff pitch, and now Jason Hodges will bat with a runner on and 1 away. So you sound comfortable up here in the booth, Nick. Either you'll have to join us more often, or maybe you're setting up for your career beyond baseball.
Yeah, in high school as a part of our sports media department, so I got to broadcast like football and basketball games all the time. So I mean, it's pretty comfortable for me. Like I said when I talked to you the other day about doing it, I was definitely excited to do it, and I'd definitely do it more often if you have me.
This is high for a ball on Hodges. Might have to hear you do play-by-play for an inning at some point.
That'd be a lot of fun. You're gonna make me nervous, though, Brandon.
Could spring it on you right here and have you call the rest of the inning. The 1-0 is a pickoff throw to first, and back to the bag safely is Tyler. 4-0 Giants as we play here in the bottom of the 3rd. Set from Williams. He looks at first. I'll ask you more about your experience here with broadcasting in a moment. The 1-0 is taken for ball 2. So elaborate on that. You said you called, was it football and basketball in high school?
Yeah, I called football and basketball in high school. Occasionally, when I was younger, I did a couple of the varsity baseball games. We didn't have anything going on, but yeah, our sports media department at St. Lawrence was kind of cool that we got to experience that from a freshman all the way up until a senior. So that was kind of cool.
2 balls, no strikes on Hodges. Here's the 2-0 taken for a strike, and the count is 2-1, 4-0 in favor of the Giants here in the bottom of inning number 3.
Yeah, that's another thing I think I've seen Williams do a lot today is just pepper that down and out corner right there like he just did. He missed the first one probably about a quarter of an inch off, but that one, he's just hitting that location all night long, and I think that's what's been helping him.
Here's a pickoff throw to first, who just back safely is Tyler as he dives head first ahead of the tag of Horn.
He's also been doing a good job keeping our runners close, too. I know I was down there in the first inning talking with Hodges, and I was like, hey, like he's getting close here. You might want to take a half step back because he's keeping you close. So
2 balls and a strike on Hodges with Tyler the lead at first, being held by Horn. Here's the set and the 2-1. This is taken for a strike call, then getting back to the bag from after a back pick from Gazzillo, the catcher, is Tyler, and the count 2-2 on Hodges.
Do you know if Williams running a changeup or a splitter on that one? Do you know off the top of your head?
I'm not entirely sure. I'll defer to your expertise.
I'm thinking that was a changeup, and it kind of reminds me a lot of like how Lucas Giolito works his changeup, starting it high and just breaking it down in the zone as Hodges pops it back.
There you go with the play-by-play. Fouling out of play, remains 2-2.
Hey, you knew it'd come out at some point, right? Told you I did for 4 years in high school. But yeah, I find that interesting because I'm not a person that likes to throw that high changeup. But when I do see guys that do it and can command it like that, it's definitely something to commend them for too.
2-2 on Hodges. Here's the set from Williams and the break-even low for a ball. We go full at 3-2. How much of the discussion down in the dugout? Just what's the discussion like down there during the game? You know you're pitching late in the game, so maybe you're coaching first some, but for the most part you're hanging out for the first 7 innings or so, this first 6 innings of the ball game. What are those conversations like? How much of it is baseball related? How much of it is fun? Here's a pickoff throw to first, and again Tyler's back on a close play.
I mean, honestly, like the relationship that I have with a lot of the guys down in the dugout is kind of like, hey, we know when to be serious, we know when to have a lot of fun. So I would say, like, you know, in moments like this, we're kind of like, hey, trying to keep it loose, making sure we're staying close and in this game. And then, like, when we get later in the game, it's like, all right, that's time for me to get serious around, like, the 6th and 7th inning, so I start putting myself in that spot.
Runner goes on the payoff pitch, but it's low for ball 4 anyway with 1 out here. Back-to-back walks now. Williams, who had pinpoint control for the most part, has walked a pair, and there's runners at first and second.
I'll probably wear that one, Brandon, on that one. I was saying about his only thrown a few balls, and now he's walked 2 straight, so just don't hate me for that one, Williams.
Yeah, we call that up here the broadcaster's jinx. One of our broadcasters here for a game earlier this season said, it's been a very clean game, no errors on either side. 3 errors in that inning. Here comes the pitch, swing and a foul, and the count 0-1.
You said that was at Oil City, or was that at Dowling Park by chance?
That was here.
Okay.
I think it was 3 errors in the next inning or two. It was a game against the Generals. It was maybe 3 weeks ago now. Okay. 0-1 the count here.
I was going to say, I could imagine that happening in the game against the Vikings at Dowling just a week ago, where we had run into a little bit of an error trouble. So
here's the 0-1. This is low for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike on Fumagalli. But if you're, as a member of the Oilmen, if you're going to have the broadcaster's jinxing the opposing pitcher isn't the worst thing in the world, right?
Oh, no, definitely not. I mean, obviously I don't want to do that to anybody, but I see that happening more often than not. Like Kershaw blew his no-hitter the other day, and Passan tweeted out, he said that wasn't my fault, I promise. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Here's the 1-1 taken for a strike. Yeah, perfect game through 7 innings. I was there on Friday night at Angel Stadium.
Oh, wow. How was that?
It was very nice for Kershaw to come within 6 outs of that perfect game, but it was not to be. That's something where, as they'll go through the signs again here, backing off the rubber for a second is Williams. That's something where I think we joke about the broadcaster's jinx, but in reality, you can't fault the broadcaster up here if somebody loses a no-hitter. Here's the 1-2, swung on and lifted foul out of play, and the count 1-2. There's kind of an old myth that you shouldn't say the term no-hitter or talk about it on the broadcast, but I don't know about how much what we say can affect what's going on down there.
Well, I mean, at this point, the only people that hear you are the fans
Right.
at that point. So it's not like you're saying to Kershaw, like, hey,
Sure.
you're doing this right now. But that's why most of the times when guys are like that, they sit at the end of the dugout. They don't talk to anybody because they know deep down inside what they're doing.
1-2 swung on, lifted foul out of play right side. It remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I've always wanted to go to Angels Stadium. Now you make me want to go even more, Brandon.
Yeah, I was at Angel Stadium on Friday night, Dodger Stadium for MLB All-Star Saturday night on Saturday, and Petco Park in San Diego on Sunday.
Brandon, you make me jealous, man.
Here comes the 1-2. This is taken outside for a ball. Yeah, I've been lucky to go to now 19 of the 30 parks, so making my way through them. Have you been to a number of ballparks?
I've honestly only been inside U.S. Cellular or Guaranteed Rate, whatever people want to call it nowadays. But only been inside there. I've driven past Wrigley countless times. I took a train to Cooperstown past Yankee Stadium, too. So I've been around stadiums, just haven't been in too many. That's on the bucket list for sure.
Swing and a miss by Fumagalli. 2 outs here and 2 on, and that'll bring up Brennan Phillips. A few new faces being integrated into the Oilmen lineup, and sometimes that can work as a nice boost late in the season when you pick up a few new teammates.
Yeah, it's interesting to see because, like, I was talking with Colin about this earlier. Colin Horniman is like, it's always fun to see new guys that come around and hop on the team because then you're building more relationship with guys you never thought you'd know before.
Swung on and lifted to center. Back a little bit is Williams, but he camps underneath it and makes the catch, and the inning ends. Well, Nick, thanks for dropping by, and good luck the rest of the way. Always a pleasure to watch you pitch from up here.
Of course, Brandon. Appreciate it. We'll talk again soon.
All right, very good. There he is, Nick Hayden from the Oilmen pitching staff. The Oilmen don't score, no runs, no hits, and 2 left in the third. After 3, it remains Giants 4, Oilmen nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well-mouthed desert, meet ice-cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. Let's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now you do.
These natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Back we are for inning number 4. Leo has rejoined me. Brandon Vickery back with you as we go to the 4th. 4-0 in favor of the Giants. There's a new pitcher on the mound. Pricing's day is done as he goes 3 innings. He allows 4 runs on 7 hits. He walked none and struck out 1. He was hit around a little bit by the Giants. First pitcher off the plate away for ball 1.
And those hits were odd too, because it wasn't like they were crushing the ball. They were just kind of hitting it all over the place to spots where the Oilmen didn't have players stationed. Just good placed contact, but not exactly crushing the ball off them, but it added up after a while.
1 ball, no strikes on Trey Walker. Here's the 1-0. It's low and in for a ball, 2-0.
Now it'll be up to Paymaster and the Oilmen bullpen to try to keep this game close. Paymaster's someone that we've seen with the Vikings last summer, can go deep in the games. He's worked innings appearances of 2 and 3 innings for the Oilmen in the past this season.
Here's a swing and a bouncing ball toward short, scooped up by Fumagalli. His throw to first is in time. This was a nice play by the Oilmen shortstop. It's the first out of the 4th inning.
Fumagalli just looked real comfortable on that play there, charging in on it. Wasn't able to get it on the fly, but was able to scoop it into his glove on one hop and then throw it over in time in a quick motion. Just a good play over there at shortstop by Fumagalli, something we've been accustomed to seeing the past couple summers.
Paymaster, the former Viking, has joined the Oilmen this summer, and he is a guy, as you mentioned, Leo, that can go multiple innings out of the bullpen.
That's what they're going to need him to try to do today and try to keep that scoring down low. He's had a couple of games where he's getting up some good runs, but he does seem to bounce back well when he does have a rough outing and has some good stuff on the mound, has some good swinging and missing pitches as well.
Swing and a foul here, 0-1. He's headed to play in the Horizon League at the Division I level at Purdue Fort Wayne, as he will join the program this season as a junior college transfer. Here comes the 0-1. Swinging a ground ball to the left side toward Fumagalli again. An active inning for the Oilmen shortstop. He guns this one to first in time as well. 2 up and 2 down to begin the 4th and to begin the day for lefty Jake Paymaster.
And he's just pitching for contact here, doing a good job getting it over to Fumagalli, who's been able to handle it both times, and he's keeping the pitch count low doing that as well. Just a few pitches all in the zone, and then just nothing too hard in terms of contact over to Fumagalli at short, who was able to handle those nicely.
Now it's Joshua Williams with 2 outs and the bases clear here in the 4th. Putting up a 0 here could be big and starting to change the tide, as the Giants have scored in each inning, including twice in the first, and they hold a 4-0 lead in inning number 4. Lefty on lefty, Paymaster to Williams. This is low for a ball to count 1-0. Again, this is the final meeting, believe it or not, between these two teams, but they have had 4 matchups canceled between these two.
Just the weather has not been on their side when these two are scheduled to play, and it's resulted in a few games we haven't gotten to experience in a competitive series this season.
1-0 taken for ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes on Williams. And again, the Oilmen 5-1 against the Giants. They've won 5 straight after losing the first matchup, but as I talked about earlier in the broadcast, 3 of the 5 Oilmen wins have been 1-run games. And as Leo added to that earlier, several of them on walk-offs here at the OC. Here's the 2-0, swinging a foul, and the count 2-1.
And you look at the trend both this summer and last summer. The Oilmen lost the first game, then won all the subsequent matchups. Last season it was a different story, though, where a lot of those were 10-run rule games for the Oilmen, where they were just blowing out the Giants. This season, the matchup has been much closer, where the Giants are hanging in there, forcing them to go to the bottom of the 9th and play that last frame of action. You can see the improvement between last summer to this summer with the American Giants.
2-1. Here's a high chop to first, fielded by the first baseman Phillips. He takes it to the bag unassisted, and the inning ends. 1-2-3 works Paymaster in the 4th. We played 3.5. It remains Giants 4, Oilmen nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well-mouthed desert, meet ice-cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. Let's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Joe Cosenza will lead off the fourth. 5, 6, and 7 due up for the Oilmen here in this fourth inning, as Cosenza will lead off the fourth frame. Williams, the pitcher, remains in the ball game here for the Giants. He winds and fires. This is swung on and smashed right back up the middle. It's going to be a base hit through the center of the diamond. Williams was frustrated that he didn't glove it, but you can't really blame him, as this was a hot smash through the middle of the diamond for a base hit.
And we've seen that a lot from Cosenza this year. He has a real powerful swing. He puts a lot of weight on that back leg and it just comes forward really quick. Good speed on his swing, and that results in a lot of line drives like that where there's just a lot of force behind them, and Williams just wasn't able to get behind that one.
As it'll be Chash Kunif standing in next. With a runner on first and nobody out here in the fourth inning. Third hit of the day for the Oilmen, maybe the best hit ball. Here's a wild pitch, advancing to second safely as Cosenza. Now a base hit. Could drive in the first Oilmen run here in the fourth.
And that's what it's all about, is getting runners in scoring position. We've seen the Oilmen have capitalized on a few miscues by the Giants to do that tonight, but haven't gotten those runners across. Now here in the fourth inning, you really need to start doing that. You don't want to save it all for the back half of this game.
1 ball, no strikes. The count here, 4-0 in favor of the Giants. Here comes the next offering. It's delivered for a strike, and the count 1-1.
Good spot there from Williams on the lower corner of the strike zone. That was one, even if he made contact with, still probably would have been the best piece of hitting.
1 ball, 1 strike on Kunif, looking for his second hit of the day in his Oilman debut. Here's Williams, 1-1. This is delivered for a strike call, and it's 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes. Lights are taking effect now as the sun has gone down for the evening. The oil refinery backdrop taking effect as well. Here comes the 1-2. This is inside lookout, hit by a pitch on a slow breaking ball as Kunif. And the Oilmen with a gift base runner, and now runners at first and second, and nobody out here in this fourth.
And that was one where you could tell coming out of the hand of Williams that wasn't where he wanted it, as it was just breaking too far inside, and that was able to clip Kunif on the elbow. And now the Oilmen getting off to one of the best spots they've had tonight with multiple men on and nobody out. This is where you could really try to get a rally going.
Hedrick struck out his first time, 4-0 in favor of the Giants as we play the last of inning number 4. Oilmen trying to break through and get on the board in this inning. Runners take their leads from first and second. This is swung on and lifted to right center. Pretty well hit ball, but it'll be Williams to glide underneath it and glove it. Tagging and going to third on the play is Cosenza as the throw goes to second. That's where Kunif retreats back to first, and Cosenza moves up 90 feet. It's a fly ball to center off the bat of Hedrick for the first out of the fourth inning.
And that was hit pretty deep. So when the catch was made, it still gave enough time to advance Cosenza. Now puts him in a really good spot here with Chaz Clark at the box, who's been swinging a good bat as of late. When he gets behind one, he can really put some force behind it, which he's a smaller hitter, so you wouldn't expect he has a lot of power. But we saw the home run against the Vikings, and he's had a couple of pretty big doubles this season.
He's driven in 12, and he'd love to add to that RBI total right here. Left-handed batter stands in against the righty Williams. Here's the first pitch. This is swung on and lifted in the air shallow. Will it be deep enough? Walker is there. He's got it. Tagging at third and holding there is Cosenza as the throw skips away. Now trying to score is Cosenza. Here's the throw to the plate. It's in time, and that is the end of the inning. So the inning ends. Clark flies to right for the second out, and then Cosenza is out at home for the third out, and the side is retired. So this goes as 2 separate putouts here. Clark flies out F9, and then you reset things after that wild throw, and it goes as a separate putout, not a double play, as it's 2-1 on the putout at the plate to retire Cosenza. And the Oilmen do not score. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. We played 4. It'll be Leo and James when we come back. The Giants 4 and the Oilmen nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
When you hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NECA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Lando Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make a smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Welcome back to Oil City Stadium. Leo Staudaher and James Dorr still with you here as the Oilmen trail the Chicago American Giants 4-0 here in the top of the fifth inning. It will be Paymaster on the mound for his second inning of work. He worked a quick 1-2 frame last time up. He'll be opposing Wright, Nelson, and Carter for the Giants here. Marcus Wright in the box here is 1 for 2 so far this evening. He singled and eventually scored in inning number 1 as he gets set to face the lefty Paymaster. That one's chopped up the middle over to Tyler at second base, and that pops over the head of the second baseman. Took a good hop there, and Wright turns the corner after a miscue in right field. He's going into second base there. It looked like Clark, the right fielder, tried to pick it up and just lost it. So that will be a play that ends with him on second base to start the inning. That looked like maybe for a second it was going to get to Tyler, then took a quick hop. Then you think the right fielder, Clark, has it, and then he just gets away from him, and now all of a sudden he's 180 feet away from scoring.
Yeah, that was a weird kind of bounce that it took there for Clark. Tough play to make. And then the Giants being aggressive on the base pass, which is something they weren't in their last game against the Vikings. So that's an encouraging sign to see, is the Giants being a little more aggressive on the base pass.
That'll be scored as an E4, so that was the error on second base. So now that brings Nelson to the box here with a man on second. First pitch from Paymasters, he shows bunt, can't catch up to that, so that'll be strike 1. As he was going for it, but just couldn't connect. Nelson in the box playing shortstop this evening is 0 for 2.
And Paymaster's really been pitching well today, been hitting his spots in the zone and inducing a lot of weak contact across the diamond. That was really the first hit that, it was an error too, so actually really been inducing a lot of weak contact today.
And the next pitch is called strike 2. That one Nelson doesn't offer on. Paymaster just working out of the bullpen here for the Oilmen. The left-hander has similar pricing, a unique arm slot where he hides the ball almost behind his back. He doesn't really go over the head, but not completely side-armed, but still it's coming at a different angle than you're used to. And then that's high for ball 1. So I can see how that's troubling for hitters, and they're swinging on top of a lot of his stuff as we've seen early on here.
No doubt, and as a hitter as well, it gives a different spin to the ball as you're hitting it versus if it's more over the top, it's going to be more downhill, so there's going to be less movement on the ball. So it's a thing you have to adjust for as a hitter, something we've seen both out of the Oilmen pitchers today.
So Paintmaster looks over to the runner on second, goes towards the plate. In motion is Wright, and he will swipe third base there as that pitch was outside for ball 2.
And another thing for Paymaster and Preston is they're working with the new catcher today, which I think is an not talked about, if not aspect of the game, is that chemistry is needed between that pitcher and catcher. So it'll be interesting to see how Paymaster continues to adjust as this game goes along.
We talked a little bit about that at the All-Star game too, as the 2-2 misses for ball 3 will go full here, that it does take a little bit to warm up to a new catcher, just getting a feel for how he likes his signs and different stuff like that, where he wants the ball placed. And for catchers learning new pitching staff, that is an adjustment you have to go through. As the count's 3-2, nobody out here. There's a runner on third base. The American Giants looking to put a run on the board after being held scoreless last inning. That's a swing and a miss for strike 3 by Nelson, though. So that'll be the first out of the inning. Paymaster gets him swinging out of the box there, chasing one outside the zone for the first out.
And something we've seen from both pitchers on both sides is that low and outside corner being a very popular spot today. Paymaster hitting that with the low and away fastball, really nice location. Ended up getting him to chase there, so nice pitch there to put him away.
I'll bring Josh Carter to the box here. He has a pair of doubles in 2 plate appearances this evening, and he belts this one out to center field. Camping under it is Hodges. He makes the catch. Now he's running for home plate. The runner from third. The throw is not in time. Wright will beat that across, so that'll be a sacrifice fly to center field, and that'll increase the American Giants' lead to 5-0.
Josh Carter, a guy for the Giants that they'd like to see him come out more often and play, because in 13 games he's been just under 400, about a 370 batting average. Really been an impressive player. And again, just putting the bat on the ball there and scoring another run there for the Giants, building some insurance runs.
And that one was deep enough so that even though he flew out, it was still able to score a run. And now Cummings in the box takes the first pitch outside for ball 1. And that was just enough to help his team out there.
Oh, no doubt. And those are the types of runs that are difference in the ball games, is the Giants have really struggled to close games against these Oilmen. So every run they get is very important and key.
Next pitch outside for ball 2. Yeah, those extra insurance runs, especially when you have a starting pitcher who's dealing up there, you're just helping him by building more and more of a cushion for him to work with.
No doubt. And the other part of it as well is that bullpen gives them a little more insurance, gives them a little bit more of a security blanket as well as they go deeper into this ball game.
So the 2-0 pitch, that one is low for ball 3. Paymaster just looking for a strike here.
And Jaden Cunningham's another guy that the Giants would like to see more. Only appeared in 12 games this year. Another guy that's batting above 350. Just a guy that needs to keep it going well in the second half of the season.
Paymaster floats in a strike to make it a 3-1 count. He will extend this at-bat against Cummings, looking for out number 3 with the base paths clear. After a leadoff error resulted in Wright to get on base, he eventually came around and scored after he stole a base. There was a sacrifice fly. Now the 3-1, swing and a miss for strike 2. We'll go full here. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
And again, looked like Cunnings once again swinging right over the top of that changeup there thrown by Paymaster. A real nice pitch located right at the knees. Tough pitch to hit there by Cunnings.
So now Paymaster stares down for the sign from his catcher Cuniff. Getting ready for the payoff pitch here. He kicks and fires towards the plate. Swing and miss for strike 3. A pair of strikeouts for Paymaster in the inning, but that does come after the American Giants put another run at the board. They lead by 5 midway through the 5th inning here. We'll see how the Oilmen bats respond. Stick around. That's next on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
I am a success. I am the future.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am. I am.
I am Ivy Tech Community College.
Are you?
You guys are crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in Land of Frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted and bread. Cheese, 10 more. Go.
I'm getting shredded. Make the smart choice. Land of Frost premium meat.
Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient.
It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Leo Stoddard and James Dorr back with you here for the bottom of inning number 5 here at Oil City Stadium, where the Northwest Indiana Oilmen trail the Chicago American Giants 5-0 as they're being out-hit 7-3. Colin Horniman will come to the box here. Horniman, when these two teams met on July 2nd, hit his first home run in an Oilman uniform in a game they ended up winning 6-5. That was a game where the Oilmen were trailing 2-0. Horniman belts a 2-run shot, and that allowed them to come back. They eventually would increase their lead to 6-2, and the Giants had a late push, but Horniman fouls this one down the right field line. That drops near the Oilman bullpen for strike 1, but his home run really spurred them for a rally, especially when you see a player to just finish high school, getting his first real extra base hit. That can kind of pick up the guys around you when you see him produce like that and lead a comeback.
Oh, no doubt. Absolutely, Leo. That's a great point, because it adds to the veteran guys in the clubhouse being able to see a young guy and also being able to coach him up in 2 and seeing his potential being realized. It's a real exciting thing as a manager, but also as a teammate as well.
He swings over the 0-1 pitch to make it 0-2, and Horniman, the average might not be there, but he does take some really competitive at-bats. You can tell he's got the tools to be a really good hitter at the box, and he puts this one in the air opposite field over the right field near Walker, and he makes the grab for out number 1 in this 5th inning.
And just going back to last inning a little bit, just talking about Paymaster, once again having a really strong start to the day coming out of the bullpen, as a tough start for Pressing as he gets his first start in a long time. So it's nice to see the Oilmen bullpen, which has been a strength for them all season, coming in once again and really finishing strong here as they looking to go deep in this ball game. Again, giving their batters a chance to get them back in this game.
Even with the 1 run on the board, you can't fault too much of that on Paymasters. He was pitching well up there. It was just the error resulted in the runner to get on, and that extended the frame as he had 2 strikeouts in that inning. He was able to get 2 of those 3 outs without even putting the ball in play.
Right, no, and absolutely, and the important part of that is that's why that error can't happen, is that then you move that guy to second, and now you have no margin of error. So it's really important there is to, limit the damage as much as you can.
Kyle Tyler comes to the box here to face Williams, takes a first pitch strike. Tyler had a pretty good game against these American Giants back on June 23rd, picking up 3 hits, walking a pair of times, and scoring 4 times. That was a pretty impressive. I believe that was his 2nd game with the club. That's a good way to make the jump from high school to this college summer ball. He'll be playing at Valparaiso next season, but already looks like a very accomplished hitter, making that adjustment pretty easily.
Absolutely, and the important part is in that transition is trying to start a hot streak early, get your name in the lineup as well, and just continue to get at bats and get better, because this is the time to do it as you're going into the freshman year.
That one skips away for ball 2, makes the count 2-1. Sometimes I think it's just a matter of maybe not confidence, more of maybe a naivety by a high school hitter where you're not realizing you're facing older guys and you're going up there and just attacking, and as that goes to 2-2, you're not thinking too much. And that seems to be what's working for Tyler, is he just goes up there and really just doesn't seem to be overthinking anything at the plate, just has a good approach, and it's been working for him. The 2-2 pitch to the Oilman's second baseman is inside for ball 3.
And I think that's the approach you kind of have as a young guy, is not let it get, the moment too big, not get in your head, just do what you train to do. And again, you're going to get better as you get more at-bats. It's all about getting at-bats and plate appearances, seeing different spins off the pitcher's hand, and just being able to read it better as you get older.
The payoff pitch from Williams is high for ball 4, so Tyler works his 2nd walk of the day. That'll bring Jason Hodges to the box here, who's reached base twice, reached on an error in inning number 1, and then walked in the 3rd inning. So now he's looking for his first hit of the day. This will come with 1 out and a man on base.
Jason Hodges is a guy that's playing at junior college right now, guy that's having a really strong summer league campaign, looking to play at a bigger school. He's batting over 300. Say he's an all-star snub, if I'm being honest, out of the Oilmen. He's had a really strong first half of the season, looking to keep it going in the second half.
takes a first pitch strike, delayed sign from the home plate umpire. Yeah, Hodges batting .316 on the year, 24 hits, 10 runs driven in. He's also walked 19 times, so he's got that mix between the hits and then the free passes that have really put him on base a lot this season, as we've seen tonight too, where he's got on base both times he's been up without recording a hit as he takes strike 2 there.
He's a guy that has a hit streak of 7 games going currently, so looking to keep that up tonight. Again, a guy that's really going to be key for the Oilmen in order to make a long playoff run, a real key piece of this Oilmen lineup.
Williams stares down the runner at first base. That's Tyler. Now he looks towards his catcher, Gazillo. Throwing the pitch towards Hodges. Swing and miss for strike 3. Swinging over that one was Hodges for out number 2 here in the 5th inning.
Really nice pitch there. Again, got Hodges on that inside corner. Really been locating his pitch as well all night. So that's really been a key for him as he goes deep into this ballgame.
Now Anthony Fumagalli comes to the box here. Fumagalli 1 for 2 this evening. Had a single back in the 1st inning and a strikeout in the 3rd. He's batting here with 2 away and a runner on first base. His team trails by 5 here. And now a checkup over to Tyler at first base. He gets back in time. Williams throwing over.
And Fumagalli's a guy right now, if you look at his stats, they're not really jumping out at you, batting about .250, but in his last season at Purdue Northwestern, batted about .344, so they're not really telling the full story right now, and a guy that we've already seen in the field make a lot of great plays.
Takes a ball from Williams, and last season, he was a real good piece for the Oilmen. Wasn't one of the marquee players, but someone that was very consistent for them, where you didn't realize what a good season he was having until you really looked at the stats, too, but you could notice his impact both defensively and offensively. As the 1-0 pitch is outside, that gets away from the catcher Gazillo. Making his sprint over to second base is Tyler, so he'll advance there.
And it's interesting to see Gazillo playing behind catcher today. Usually a guy you see in the middle infield, so very versatile player for the Giants, a guy that they love in the field. Interesting to see him playing catcher today. Seems to be adjusting well for the most part.
That counts 2-0 to Fumagalli here. 2 outs, looking to extend this inning. Takes one just outside for ball 3 from Williams, who's in his 5th inning of work here.
And Williams doing a really nice job of using a lot of different pitches and a lot of different locations, but mostly been using that fastball really well. And as you talked about earlier, he has that different type of windup. Again, I think that's throwing off hitters' timing, and even in that stretch, it looked like they're taking that pause. That little bit messes up the timing.
He gets a strike in there. Fumagalli lays off that one as he had the 3-0 count, so that moves it to 3-1. Just laid off that one, looking for potentially a walk here. Fumagalli, in just his 4th game with the club this summer, has 1 free pass on the season. He cracks that one out towards center field, and that one gets in the glove of Williams for out number 3. So the Oilmen get a man on, but can't get him across the plate. They still trail by 5 after 5. You're following along on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Don't go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an ironworker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Gino Gazzillo will lead off the 6th inning for the Giants with Leo Staudaher, Brandon Vickery back with you as we take it to inning number 6. James Dorr and David Bork are with us as well. Here's the set from Paymaster, and his first pitch is low and in for a ball. This has simply not been a good night for the Oilmen to this point. They have surrendered 5 runs with the Giants scoring in 4 of the first 5 innings. Meanwhile, from an offensive standpoint, the Oilmen scattering just 3 hits and have no runs to show for it. Paymaster delivers the 1-0. This is taken for ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes. After a long rest, the Oilmen may be a little rusty, but they were hoping to start this active stretch strong tonight, but it's been a slow start to the ballgame.
Especially when you're still fighting for some positioning moving towards the postseason, where you need all these games, especially a game against a team low in the standings. This is where you're hoping to make up some ground. So they're going to have to try to turn on the comeback because coming after off a 5-day break, not a lot of games in the last 2 weeks, that's sometimes hard getting back in the swing of things. I mean, obviously the players are probably still working out, still doing stuff, but it's hard to simulate real live action baseball. And now you're just getting your first taste for it after a while for these Oilmen players.
Here's the 3-0 swing and a miss by Gazzillo. He took a big hack on 3-0 and the count 3 balls and 1 strike.
So now the Oilmen, too, a lot of days off, moving into a stretch where they're going to have a lot of games and a lot of days. There's really not much more break before the postseason, so they are going to have to get back in the swing of things quick here.
3 balls and a strike on Gazzillo, and look out, he gets hit by a pitch, and the leadoff batter is on here in the 6th inning.
That one looked like it just got away from Paymaster, going too far inside. His command was pretty spot on those first 2 innings, but that one he missed in a couple spots against Gazzillo lead off inning number 6 here.
5-0 in favor of the Giants as we play inning number 6. The Giants have lost 11 consecutive ball games coming into the game tonight. Their last victory was back on June the 28th. And they have a chance. There's a swing and a line drive to left. That's a base hit. It's ticketed for the gap. Gazzillo trying to go first to third. Here comes the throw from center and Hodges. It's cut off. Going first to third on the plate, Gazzillo. Horn single sharply to left center. And the Giants are in business again. Runners at first and second with nobody out.
And that's just what the Giants have been doing all night, is putting contact into places like that where the Oilmen just can't put anybody, as that was well hit into the gap and allowed Gazzillo to get off to a good jump because he knew there wasn't a threat that was going to be a fly out, and go from first to third there and put him in a really good spot here, still with nobody out in the inning.
Trey Walker with runners at first and third, but an 11-game losing streak could end tonight if the Giants can hold on and beat the Oilmen. Runners take their leads from first and third. Here comes the pitch, swinging a ground ball left field base hit. It's through the left side of the infield as Fumagalli was shifted over towards second, and the ground ball leaks through the left side, sharply hit, ball wrapped off the bat of Walker. Coming in to score is Gazzillo, and the Giants have made it a 6-0 ball game with nobody out here in the 6th.
And that's where it became so important that Gazzillo was able to go from first to third on that previous hit by Horn, because that put him in a good spot to get across home plate there on that hit there by Walker, as now they extend their lead by another run.
Runners take their leads at first and second as Bullock stands in. First pitch is a strike, and the count 0-1. The Giants overall for the season, 7 one-run losses. That really is incredible. 7 different one-run games they've been on the wrong end of. Almost a third of their losses have come by the slimmest of margins, and many of the other games have not been huge blowouts either. Here comes the 0-1 outside for a ball, 1-1. A lot of times when we've seen 4-26 teams in this league, they're getting beat by 8 or 10 runs on a daily basis, but that simply hasn't been the case with these Giants.
And that's talking about the difference from last season to this season with the Giants. I can't recall their record from last season, but they were getting blown out a lot when they faced the Oilmen just because they'd run out of pitching and just were really struggling near the end of the season. But this year, they just look much more bought in. They're much more competitive. And you can just see from the mindset, from the coaching, from everything, that they are very close in these games this year and just coming up a little bit short in most of these games.
Yeah, their most recent game on Monday, a 4-3 loss to the Southland Vikings in another close defeat for Dre Gilmore's team. And again, their last win on June 28th, but they actually lost that day as well as they split a doubleheader with Crestwood. The 1-2 is fouled. So it's always, when you win the first game of a doubleheader, and that's a victory, you're a team that hasn't won a ton of games. You don't get to enjoy that very long when you have to turn around and play again, then you lose that second one.
That's a tough turnaround, but seeing how they have all these close games, that they're losing, but then come back and still play in close ones. Sometimes when you lose a close game like that, that can be a heartbreaker. You're playing a little dejected coming out the next game, but they just seem just ready with a short memory, always ready to come out and compete the next game, even if they're not getting the results they would like.
I'll be honest with you, this one's not close so far tonight. It is all Giants. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count on Bullock. Here comes the pitch on the way. This is low and in for a ball, and we go even at 2-2.
They're just doing a very good job of getting the contact that the Oilmen aren't. We saw that hard hit ball by Fumagalli in the last thing, probably the hardest hit ball the Oilmen have had all night, and it was just right to a hitter. The American Giants are putting it through the gaps. They're putting it those seeing eye singles that are just resulting in them to get on base.
2-2 on Bullock. Here's the break even. This is swung on and lifted in the air. It's shallow. Shallow right. 3 Oilmen surrounding it, and a sliding catch is made by Hodges, and the runners have to hold it first and second. Hodges slides feet first and is able to make the grab for the first out of this 6th inning.
That could have been trouble, too, as that was one where it was put kind of in no man's land between 3 different Oilmen players, and then Hodges was able to make the grab. That could have been trouble if that dropped.
Take a look at the Northern League scoreboard here in just a moment. A busy night in the Northern League here this evening. Runners take their leads from first and second. 6-0 in favor of the Giants as Joshua Williams stands in. A doubleheader between... wait a minute. Here comes the pitch, swinging a foul at the plate in the count 0-1. The Corn Dogs have beaten the Panthers tonight by a 14-8 score. Here comes a swing and a foul in the count 0-1. This is taken for a strike in the count 0-2. Last night, the Corn Dogs losing 7-4 to the Generals, and they bounce back and get back in the win column today by beating Crestwood and by a 14-8 score. 0-2. Here's a swing and a grounder foul right side. The count remains no balls and 2 strikes. But the Corn Dogs were led by the efforts of Roman Kuntz, who hit 3 home runs, a 3-homer game in the victory over the Panthers today.
The Corn Dogs have a lot of power in that lineup and a lot of different guys that can hit the long ball, as we saw tonight. Kuntz doing it 3 different times.
Here's a 2-strike pitch. Taken for strike 3 called. Caught looking as Williams for the second out of the inning. A big strikeout for Paymaster and the Oilmen as they try to limit the damage here in this 6th.
And that was a much-needed strikeout for Paymaster after the American Giants were able to string together a few different hits there. You were able to get a big strikeout without risking putting the ball in play.
And now a pinch batter has come in. Here's a swing and a miss. The count 0-1. This is Glad, I believe. Mike Glad standing in. And he's batting with a count of no balls and 1 strike. Oh and 1. Here's the pitch from Paymaster outside for a ball, and the count evens at 1-1. And elsewhere, the Generals on top of the Vikings today, 13-5. So the Vikings in that race with the Oilmen for second place. The Oilmen enter the day 2.5 behind Southland. Here's the 1-1, low and outside for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And if you're the Oilmen, you do have to watch for the Generals creeping up in 4th place. They're at 16-17 right now, but could even that up at 17-17. They're a team, if they get hot, could be a problem for the Oilmen as well.
2-1, 2 outs. Glad batting for the first time today. He's behind a Paymaster fastball, and the count goes even at 2-2. 6 runs, 9 hits, 3 errors for the Giants. 0-3-2 for the Oilmen. Here's Paymaster's set and the 2-2. Swinging a bouncing ball left side. This is fielded by Fumagalli, and he is going to take it himself to second. He was ready to flip to Tyler, but Tyler wasn't covering the bag, and Fumagalli takes it 6 unassisted on the fielder's choice to end the inning. But not before damage done, as the Giants score for the 5th inning out of 6 so far. They get 1 run on 2 hits and 2 left after 5.5, 6-0 Chicago on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
BP's natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do offshore teams, onshore support, empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Back at Oil City Stadium, 6-0 in favor of the Giants as we take it to the bottom of inning number 6. It'll be Brennan Phillips to lead off the inning for the Oilmen as we get set for the last of the 6-0 in favor of the Giants. The Oilmen will face a new pitcher. That's good news for the Oilmen as Jeremiah Williams pitched 5 strong. He yielded just 3 hits over 5 shutout innings, walking 3 and striking out 5. Williams really had it today, and he turned in an outstanding pitching performance.
Yeah, he was giving the Oilmen hitters fits at the plate. There wasn't much they were able to get going against him. Now this could be maybe a boost for them. Getting to the bullpen, it is later in the game, but still this might be what they need as they have a high hill to climb up, trailing 6-0 here in the 6th inning.
First pitch to Phillips is taken low for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Brennan Phillips grounded into a double play his first time. He flew to center in the 3rd. The 1-0 from the new pitcher Caleb Arndt is high for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes from Arndt to Phillips.
Now for the Oilmen, you want to see what Arndt's working with on the mound here as you were having trouble against Williams. So you want to make sure you're getting a feel for what this different pitcher's throwing now, facing the lefty.
2-0 lifted foul out of play. The Oilmen have done a nice job this season, as we've talked about, of playing poorly for the first half of the game, but not letting that affect them going forward and using what they learned from the first part of the game to help them. And a lot of times when they get into the bullpen, that's the turning point.
They do a good job of making those in-game adjustments once they do get to the bullpen. If they're struggling with the starter, they don't let that completely unravel their night.
This is a ground ball toward short. This is fielded by Nelson. His low throw at first is dug out by Horn for the first out of the 6th inning.
Good recovery there by Horn at first base. They go low and scoop that one up. That was at risk of being trouble. He was able to secure that nicely.
Joe Cosenza will stand in next. Oilmen trailing 6-0 to the Giants here in the 6th. I think we need some Beat the Borg trivia. We're going to get to that in just a moment as Cosenza stands in. Leo, are you ready? Have you been brushing up on your trivia knowledge?
I haven't been reading a book like David, but I've been scouring the internet for some facts to try to beat the Bork this time around.
And look out, hit by a pitch here is Cosenza. He's on base for the 2nd time today. I can't recall who was the winner last time. Was it David?
It was certainly David.
All right, David will go
Kevin
first.
might have won one as well.
I
think the last time I went head-to-head with David,
not
he
you.
definitely won.
Okay. David, we'll let you go first. Who is the last player with multiple stolen bases in the Major League Baseball All-Star Game? as Cuniff will stand in. Runner on first with one away. 6-0 in favor of the Giants. David sitting to my left today, as he has for the majority of all these years, and he'll pass along his guesses. Here's a pitch taken for a strike, and the count 0-1.
This is for the All-Star game, not the Celebrity All-Star game, which you did
Correct.
take.
I did attend the Celebrity game. I was not very familiar with one of the big stars of the Celebrity game, Bad Bunny. I'm not much of a rap fan, but the fans were a big fan as they went crazy when he came to bat. Here's a bouncing ball up the middle behind second, and the shortstop Nelson steps on second. One, the throw to first is a double play. 6-3 on the GDP, and the inning ends. No runs, no hits, nobody left for the Oilmen in the 6th. We have played 6. It's the Giants 6 and the Oilmen nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
These natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. BP's natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Back at Oil City Stadium, where there are a few changes occurring on both sides, as the Giants will bring up a pinch batter here, as this is a new batter into the ball game for the Giants. We'll get you his identification in a moment, but we'll also tell you that there are some changes defensively, as the Oilmen have brought Chris Baker into the game. He will play center. It'll be Baker in center. Hodges moves from center to right. Nate Gazda is the batter here for the Giants. He bats in the spot that was originally Nelson's. Gazda batting for Chicago to begin the 7th inning. And this is outside for a ball. And the final change to tell you about, there's a new pitcher on the mound. Jack Nekras is on to work for the Oilmen. Paymaster's day is done. He goes 3 innings, 2 runs, 2 hits. He walked none. The Oilmen have not walked a man today, and he struck out 3. Here's the 1-0 weekly hit ground ball toward third. This is picked up by Cosenza. His throw to first is just in time to get a hustling Gazda for the first out of the 7th.
Good throw by Cosenza, covering a lot of ground there as he was kind of rolling as he made the play there, and then was rolling out to his right, throwing over. Got a good dart there as he didn't have much time to spare. Was able to get that one over in time for out number 1.
6-0 Giants as we play inning number 7, and now it'll be Josh Carter to stand in. David, did you have any guesses for the last player to steal multiple bases in an all-star game? Probably not going to get it on the first guess. Here's a strike and the count 0-1. Kenny Lofton is not correct. It was more recent than that likely would have been. 0-1 on Carter, swing and a miss. And the count 0-2. Leo, you can feel free to jump in.
Saying someone that you're not likely to guess on the first try makes me think that it's somebody obscure playing in maybe their one and only All-Star game, but I'll try to just cover some ground here, go with Mike Trout on the first guess maybe, because it seems like he holds a lot of those obscure records. If there's someone in modern baseball that has a lot of credits to his name, it's Mike Trout.
0-2 to Clark, low and in. It was not Mike Trout. I'll give you the year for this next round. It was 2011. That was the last time there were multiple stolen bases in the All-Star game. Here's a high bounce left side. This is collected by Cosenza. His throw to first is going to be in time on a close play. Back-to-back 5-3 putouts begin the seventh inning. 2 up and 2 down for Oilman pitcher Jack Niekras.
Another good play over there by Cosenza at third. And Niekras just doing what he needs to do, work some contact, and result in 2 quick outs, and that's helped him keep his pitch count low too, as there's already 2 away here in the 7th inning.
Now it's Jaden Cummins standing in next with 2 outs and the bases clear. Niekras trying to put a 0 on the board. Those have been hard to come by for the Oilman pitching staff today as we play top of inning number 7. Here comes a pitch taken outside for a ball. The count 1-0.
So the American Giants doing a good job of just putting those solo tallies up throughout the game and really helping it add up as we've gone on here.
Here comes the 1-0 pitch. This is swung on and lifted in the air. It's playable. Baker just into the game, moves to his right in left center, and he makes the catch, backpedaling a bit as he snags it to end the frame. 1-2-3 for Jack Niekras in the 7th. It's time to stretch at the OC. Giants 6 and the Oilmen nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well, mouth desert, meet ice cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. Let's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now you do.
These natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Kane Hedrick leads off for the Oilmen 0-for-2 here in his Oilman debut as we play the bottom of inning number 7. 6-0 Giants. Here's a swing and a fly ball center field. First step was back for Williams. Now he comes in and he gloves this one for out number 1 to begin the 7th inning on what remains to this point a quiet night for the Oilman offense. David, I gave you the year 2011. Any guesses here in the... Carl Crawford is not correct. Leo, I'll give another hint after your guess here.
I'm going with someone who was the answer to a previous Beat the Bork. What about Alfonso Soriano? That seems to be a theme maybe we've had, or we've just talked about him a couple times on the broadcast this year.
Chris Baker takes the first pitch strike and the count 0-1. Baker standing in for the first time today. 1 out and the base is clear. 6-0 in favor of the Giants. Let's see if Baker can help spark the Oilmen, who have been quiet in this one. Lefty on lefty. Here's the 0-1. Swinging a bouncing ball right side. This is picked up by the first baseman Horn. He takes it unassisted, and quickly they're 2 down. And Leo, you had guessed, what was it again?
Alfonso Soriano.
No, that is not correct. But, however, it is, David, a former Chicago Cub. And he was a 4-time All-Star, playing for various teams. Not Juan Pierre, Leo.
Derek Lee?
Not Derek Lee. He wasn't necessarily known for stealing a ton of bases. He had decent speed for a big guy at first baseman. Here's a swing and a foul to the screen. The count 0-1. And it's rare. Remember, who's really going to steal bases in the All-Star game?
Especially more than once, too.
0-1, 2 outs.
2011.
Should I give you the other teams he played for?
Sure. So this was right before the rebuild. They were still kind of trying to be good at that point.
Well, if you could call it that. But his other teams that he played for, the Yankees, the Marlins, and the Nationals, along with the Cubs. Here comes the 0-1. This is taken high for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike on Colin Horniman. The lefty aren't trying to work a 1-2-3 here in the 7th. The Giants on top of the Oilmen by a 6-0 score, and they're out hitting the hosts 9-3. 1-1 low and in for a ball. Count 2-1. David, anything now that I've given all the teams that he played for in the year and the just about every other detail you could ask for? 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the 2-1. This is taken high for a ball on the count 3-1. This is the Beat the Board Trivia Challenge. Feel free to play along at home. Here comes the 3-1. This is swung on and lifted foul off to the right and out of play. 3-2. The Oilmen playing tonight for the first time since Thursday when they beat the Southland Vikings by a 6-4 score when 5 pitchers combined for a strong outing. 8 of the 9 hits were singles, but the Oilmen had a lot of leadoff base runners in that game, and that helped them produce the 6 runs and beat the Vikings in a big game on Thursday. Here's the payoff pitch. Swinging a foul that has not carried over tonight. The Oilmen have really not played all that well in any facet here this evening, but you got to give major credit to the Giants. They have come to play tonight, and they've scored in 5 of the first 6 innings, including 2 in the opening inning. Here's the payoff to Horniman. This is swung on and cracked towards center. There is Williams. He backpedals and makes the catch. 1-2-3 go the Oilmen in the 7th. We have played 7. It's the Giants 6 and the Oilmen nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
You hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NICA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Lando Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make a smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Gino Gazzillo leads off the 8th inning, 6-0 Giants. Nekras has been a bright spot. He worked a 1-2-3 7th inning, and he's back out for his 2nd inning of work as he faces the lower third of the Giant order in this inning. First pitch from Nekras is high and outside for a ball, 6-0 Chicago here in the 8th. All right, David, last chance here, and he doesn't have an answer. Leo, go ahead. Do you have it?
Was it Starlin Castro, or was that his rookie year? Or he'd been called up at that point, right?
Here comes the 1-0. This is high for a ball, 2-0. Starlin Castro is correct. He was an all-star and stole 2 bases in that all-star game back in 2011. I think he had come up maybe prior to that. This is low and outside for a ball. 2009 or 10. 3 balls and no strikes here on Gazillo. Good job, Leo. You're the winner today in the Beat the Bork Trivia Challenge.
Feels
Here's
good.
the 3-0. Swing and a miss. David will not sleep very well tonight. So we'll go home a little upset, and his wife and his cat Pepper will have to console him. Here's a swing and a miss, and the count goes full at 3-2.
It's been a few Cub-related Beat the Borks he's had as of late. That's a fun way to remember some Cubs guys in past years.
Here's the payoff pitch, swing and a miss. Niekraz looks sharp as he strikes out Gazillo for the first out of the 8th.
You know, Fonzo Soriano one was fun. Castro had some memorable games too. Just a different era of Cubs baseball, but a memorable one for some unique reasons, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know about memorable, but Castro and Rizzo, I mean, that gave you 2 things to be excited about as Rizzo came around that time. That was the first real building block. Here's a pitch inside for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes.
It was right at the end of the Lou Piniella years, too, and he was always fun because you never really knew what he was going to do, too. Or that might have been Quaddy at that point, but still, Lou was fun.
This is taken low and outside. I want to say 2010 was Lou's last year, and then 2011 was Mike Quaddy.
Yeah, I think that might be right.
2 balls and no strikes on the batter here. Here's a pitch taken for a strike, and it's 2-1.
Niekraz just looking to work another quick inning. That was big for him last time. All 3 outs came by courtesy of his defense, but just being able to pitch for contact and just get those quick outs, that's something they've only been able to do twice so far tonight at having those quick innings. Or one was 4 batters came across, or they did have a 1-2-3 with Paymaster in the 4th. I'm having trouble reading my own handwriting here, but those quick innings have been few and far between this game.
Sure. Niekraz trying to work another one here. Full count as this pitch fouled away. 6-0 Giants in the top of the 8th inning at Oil City Stadium. 3-2 the count. Here's the payoff. Swinging a ground ball toward short. Coming in is Fumagalli. The shortstop throws to first in time, and that is the second out of the 8th inning. 5 up and 5 down for Jack Niekraz.
And the Oilmen pitching, by and large, has been doing a good job of just using the defense behind them. They've been working a lot of ground balls, but then the American Giants have just been able to scatter in a few well-placed hits here and there. But the Oilmen defense has been picking up for them when they've been pitching for contact tonight. Not a lot of walks as we've seen. The Oilmen pitchers are hitting the zone, but the American Giants are just doing a good job getting wood on those pitches.
Trey Walker with 2 outs and the bases clear looks at a strike from Niekraz, and the count 0-1. Niekraz trying to provide a real bright spot if he can close out the outing the way he's been throwing. Here's the 0-1 fouled at the plate, and it goes to no balls and 2 strikes. This is only the start, Leo, of a long homestand this week with the Oilmen home tonight, tomorrow night, Friday, and Saturday.
After that long stretch of days off, that's what you need. Playing a lot of games at your own ballpark, getting in a routine, getting used to playing at this stadium, being the home team, getting the last at-bats. This is what you need to try to get some wins together before the postseason.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Walker. This is low and outside. Andrew Mild's going to be with me tomorrow night as the Oilmen take on the Corn Dogs in a big matchup. 2-2 with 2 down. Always big when the Oilmen take on Lake County. Here's the 2-2. It's swinging a line drive to second. It's caught on a line by Tyler, and the inning ends. A 1-2-3 for Niekraz, and he works 6 up, 6 down over 2 innings. We've played 7.5. It remains Giants 6, Oilmen nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
You hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NECA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Lando Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay. Make a smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes! When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time. These natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft. Safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Bottom of the 8th inning, 6-0 Giants as Arndt is back out for another inning of work. Nekraz has retired all 6 batters he's faced over the last 2 frames, providing a bright spot for the Oilmen today. This pitch is downstairs for a ball, 1 ball, and no strikes as the Giants holding a 6-0 lead. 1-0 the count here. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's swung on and missed, and the count evens out at a ball and a strike.
I'm looking across my scorecard. The Oilmen have struck out 5 times in this game, but none since the 5th inning. They're making a lot of contact tonight, but it's just going right to the defense. A lot of groundouts to short, a lot of flyouts to center. Just they're having a problem putting that contact in places where it can result in base runners, as they only have 3 hits throughout this game.
This is high for a ball. The other thing they've done well tonight on the other side of the ball is avoiding walks, as they have not walked a Giant all night long. Normally that's a recipe for success for a pitching staff, but instead they've still allowed 6 runs. This is swung on and fouled out of play in the count 2-2.
That's sometimes baseball's just weird like that, where you don't limit any walks, but then you're losing still 6-0 because that means your opponent's swinging more. So maybe now the American Giants are knowing the Oilmen are going to throw strikes, so they're going to be aggressive on those early count pitches, so you're not maybe going deep in as many counts against these hitters.
Here is a pitch taken for strike 3 called. Caught looking is the leadoff batter of the inning, and the leadoff batter in the lineup, Kyle Tyler, for the first out of the 8th inning. As Barrera has come into play, by the way, at first base. He batted for Horn in that last half inning and grounded out to short in the 8th. Now it's Jason Hodges standing in. 0 for 2 is Hodges. He reached on an error and struck out. He also drew a walk. Here's the pitch from Art. It's fisted foul, right side 0-1.
The Oilmen at this point just need some kind of spark here, somebody to try to string things together. It was looking like maybe they were going to get that in the 6th inning when you got Cosenza on base, but then they grounded into a double play on the next pitch, and it just really felt like it might have killed some momentum they were trying to get going at that point.
Hodges batting with a count of 0-1. This is taken low and in for a ball, 1-1. We'll continue to look at the week ahead. It'll be the Oilmen and Generals here on Police and Fire Appreciation Night. Get your tickets now, NWIOilmen.com. It's a big one on Friday night. Looking forward to having it for you. And then the Panthers will be in town for, believe it or not, the first time all season that the Panthers will play at Oil City Stadium on Saturday night. Here comes the 1-1. This is swung on and fouled right side out of play, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It felt like we were very familiar with the Panthers at the beginning of the season. We saw them quite a bit those first 2 weeks, and now we haven't seen them since early June. So it'll be nice to get to see some of their players, get to see Josh, their broadcaster, again, and get to welcome them to Oil City for the first time this season other than the All-Star game.
So again, 4 games at home beginning tonight, but the Oilmen trying to avoid starting that stretch on a sour note. This is taken inside for a ball, 3-1. And the Giants have been so competitive, but the rest of the league has found ways to beat them. They've only won 4 games. 1 was against the Oilmen. So the pressure's on when you're trying to be one of the top teams in the league and you play a team that the other teams have had their way with. Here comes the 3-1. This is taken for strike 3 call. This was actually a 2-2 pitch, and Hodges is out on strikes. 2 outs and nobody on here in the 8th. Back-to-back looking strikeouts to begin this frame. That'll bring up Fumagalli.
And that's one that looks like it frustrates the Oilmen hitters. Back-to-back looking strikeouts when you're already down by a lot. Those really hurt, as now you're trying to overcome that That was tough, as that was a close pitch inside, and Hodges has to walk back with strike 3 there.
Now Fumagalli. Here's the first pitch taken for a strike, and the count 0-1. The zone has opened up a little bit here from Patrick Coe. Oh, no balls and a strike on Fumagalli. Here's the set from Arndt. This is strike 2 call.
So it seems like Arndt's really now attacking the strikes and getting a feel that it might be expanded a little and just going right at these Oilmen hitters, not letting them get ahead in any count. So that puts them on the defensive now late in this game.
2 outs, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch on the way. Low for a ball, blocked by the catcher Gazillo. And the count is 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. This is low as well, and we go even at 2-2. Another beautiful night. We've been so fortunate with great weather all summer long. It's been fun to just come on out to the ballpark each and every night. A Wednesday, so of course tonight was senior discount night here. Half-price tickets for all senior citizens. The 2-2 swinging a fly ball to right. This is going to hang up there for the right fielder Walker, and the inning ends. 1-2-3 go the Oilmen in the 8th. We have played 8. It's the Giants 6 and the Oilmen nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
I am a success. I am the future.
I am.
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 I am Ivy Tech Community College.
Are you?
You guys are crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in Land of Frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted and bread. Cheese, 10 more. Go.
I'm getting shredded. Make the smart choice. Land of Frost premium meat.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
BP's natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Max Bullock is leading off the 9th inning as the Giants start this frame at the top of the order. Nekraz is out for a 3rd inning of work, and he's hoping to remain a bright spot for this Oilmen pitching staff. 6-0 in favor of the Giants, as really for the Oilmen team overall, Nekraz has been the bright spot of the day, and he delivers ball 1. We've seen him have a rough outing or two, but he has really done a nice job for the most part this season.
I think that speaks to when he does have a rough outing, he seems to bounce back really well the next time. That's something that's so important for a bullpen pitcher, because you're not always going to have your best stuff every night. Sometimes teams are going to hit off you, and that's just how you come out the next time, because you heard Hayden talking about what it's like coming out of the bullpen. You have to just be confident up there, and so even when you're not having your best stuff, you just have to come out better the next time.
Swing and a miss. The count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 6-0 Giants as we play top of inning number 9. Here's the 1-1. Taken outside for a ball, 2-1. Thinking about you, Leo, as a big hockey fan, with the big news related to broadcasting and hockey with Eddie Olczyk leaving the Blackhawks. Here's the 2-1. This is inside for a ball, 3-1.
That's a big one. I mean, really shaking up the broadcasting booth I grew up on. No more Pat Foley, no more Eddie Olczyk. Eddie Olczyk was also a Brother Rice alum, so that was one of the reasons he was one of my favorite broadcasters too. So it's just going to be different this season.
Here's the 3-1. It's a strike, and the count goes full at 3-2.
He definitely made his impact, and it's going to be weird not hearing him on the call anymore.
3-2 on Bullock. 6-0 the score. This is a swing and a ground ball toward third. Tricky bounce on Cosenza. He cannot make the play as it bounces off him and toward short. Safe at first, Bullock. And we'll see how they score it. And that'll bring up Williams.
That was just kind of sums up the night the Oilmen have been having, too, where just things like that happen to them, where there was that one play earlier at second base where the ball skipped over Tyler at second, and where you just have weird things happen to you defensively. It's just been a tough night for the Oilmen, and that's how baseball is sometimes, where you just get all those breaks going against you, and you're hitting the ball kind of hard offensively, but it's going right to defenders, and just can't get much going.
Williams takes outside for ball 1 ball and no strikes. Williams 0 for 3 with a sac fly, 1 ball and no strikes the count. This is taken low and outside for ball 2-0. I was going to bring up the story that I've told on the air before, but the Oilmen were playing the DuPage County Hounds at Benedictine back in 2013, and Pat Foley was attending the game as a fan. Here's a pitch taken for a strike, the count 2-1. He was there to watch former Hound Chase Toth, who was a family friend of his.
Okay.
And the Hounds people came up, the general manager came in the press box and said, I don't want anybody to bother Pat Foley since he's here as a guest. Here's the 2-1. This is taken high for a ball. Now I was thinking, I don't work for the Hounds. I really don't care what that guy just said.
Of course.
So I went down and asked Pat if he'd be willing to do an interview that I recorded with him. And he was very kind. He did the interview. It was right in the heart of the popularity of the Blackhawks at that time. It was in the midst of the Stanley Cup run of 3 cups in, 6 years?
Yep.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Williams. But I got some nice info from him. And at that time, I was kind of a third broadcaster, and it would come on with little insights like that throughout the game. So that was a nice little report. Here's the 3-2. Taken outside for ball 4 as Williams draws the walk. Bullock forced to second, runners at first and second, and that'll bring up Mike Gladden. But he was very kind, and it was quite the unexpected experience to see Pat Foley at an Oilmen game.
Of course, and he's just one of a kind, too. I think they don't make broadcasters like that anymore, of a different generation, just his wackier style, and he was definitely one where maybe in broadcasting school he did a lot of things they tell you not to do, but he did them anyway, and he was certainly more entertaining as a result of that.
It's high for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. I just figured that story would be fitting. Here's a swing and a foul, and the count 1-1.
Well, maybe now in retirement he'll be able to take in more Oilmen games too. We'll see him popping around more. I guess with the Hounds not around, he'll have to find a new team in the Northern League to support.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Or if Chase Tote's playing somewhere else, that'll be his team, I guess. I don't know.
It's weird how certain things just stick with you. Like, I just remember that's who the player he was that he was watching. Here's the 1-1, low and outside for a ball.
This wasn't like a player that went on to play pro or anything either? Or
no, I just recall that he said, he called him Chaser. And I thought that's kind of fitting for a hockey broadcaster to call a guy named Chase Chaser. It just seems like a hockey nickname. Here comes the 2-1. This is swung on and lifted foul over our heads out of play, and it's 2-2.
And not much creativity with those nicknames either. Just add a ER or a Y or maybe an S. And that's really all it takes.
2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Baseball is kind of the same way. You think about like Cub lineup of Rossi. Here comes the 2-2 low and outside for a ball. We talked about Alfonso Soriano earlier. Sorry.
Yeah. Back in the day, it seemed like you had more creative nicknames. I mean, the Sultan of SWAT.
Yes.
Great. I mean, you could just do the whole Sandlot bit going down with just nicknames for Babe Ruth, but other players had great nicknames as well.
There's a line drive to left. That's a base hit. It gets down for Gladden. Bullock will get the stop sign at third. As the throw comes in, it's a strike from left from Hedrick. Nice throw by him, but it matters not as the runner was holding at third. An error, a walk, and a hit in this inning. And now the bases are full of Giants, and that'll bring up Gazda.
And starting the inning off with an error, that was kind of the same thing we saw back in the 5th inning for the American Giants, as they were able to really string things together after that error, as they just are doing a good job of capitalizing on those little mistakes by the Oilmen as well.
Yeah, the defense hasn't been bad tonight. Some of the errors were close calls. Here's a pitch that swung on and popped up. The infield fly rule will be in effect, and this is the first out of the inning. It drops, but it's still an out, and the runners will hold on their respective bases. So this counts as a P5. Cosenza will get credit for making the catch, even though he did not. And that's the first out of the inning as Gazda is retired.
Now the Oilmen, you got one away here. You just need to make sure you get these 2 outs without allowing another run, because trailing 6 going into the bottom of the 9th inning, the way they've been hitting the ninth, that's a lot to ask for them to try to come back from. So you don't want to make it any more than that. A double play here would be amazing to try to get.
Yeah, the Oilmen, the infield now thinking about something they can turn. This is taken for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. The count on Carter. Bases full of Giants. Here's the 1-0. Swinging a tapper foul at the plate, and it evens at 1-1. Oilman offense, no runs on 3 hits. They have some work to do. That's been the real difficulty of the day for the Oilmen. Not so much defensively or even pitching-wise, but they have allowed 6 runs on 10 hits, but it's been the offense. The Giant pitching staff has done a nice job. This is low and outside for ball 2, 2-1.
The fact that they've only had to use 2 pitchers as well. I mean, sometimes we've seen it where the Oilmen, once they chase the starter out, they do a good job of attacking that first bullpen pitcher, getting him out of the game quick, but Arndt has done a good job picking up where Williams left off.
Nekraz delivers outside for a ball. Nekraz was sharp in his first 2 innings, but the 3rd inning he's been in a little bit of a jam. Again, a play not made at 3rd on a bouncing ball toward 3rd base, then a walk and a single, and now the base is full. And there's nowhere to put Josh Carter, who bats with a count of 3 balls and a strike. Nekraz delivers high and outside ball 4. It forces in a run.
That's just the advantage of having those bases loaded, where it forces the pitcher to have to be perfect on the mound, and then he's able to walk home another run there as the Vikings, or the American Giants now, have a touchdown-sized lead over the Oilmen, as it's going to be tough for them to try to climb back from that inning number 9.
To say the least. Base is full, 1 out. Here's the pitch taken high for a ball, 1-0. This is Cummings batting for the 5th time today. He's 0 for 3 officially. He did have a sac fly and has struck out twice. 7-0 Giants. The Oilmen have made some massive comebacks, but this would be the most massive yet should they rally in the bottom of the 9th. Swinging a foul here, and the count 1-1. But again, of course, we see things from mostly the Oilman perspective, but you can't help be a little bit happy for this Giant team. Here comes the 1-1. Taken for ball 2, 2 balls and a strike. Trying to snap an 11-game losing streak. And that's so tough in the summer to come out and play day in and day out. You're trying to win a ball game and just take defeat after defeat, and you're just having a hard time in close games. Here's a swing and a foul. You're in games. You're losing a lot of close ones. So to break through after losing 11 in a row, you have to feel just a little bit happy for the guys on that side.
Especially, I mean, we've been talking about all night that these haven't been blowout losses, that these have been close games, and you can tell this is a team that's been fighting, a team that just tries to shake off these losses, come back even better the next day, and now see them potentially breaking through here. It is good to see, especially because you can tell this is a team that works hard, and DeAndre Gilmore, their manager, seems to really do a good job of holding his players accountable and making them go out and play competitive.
It's outside for a ball 3-2. Nekraz had worked 2 smooth innings, but he has issued 2 walks and now a 3-ball count here. These 2 walks in this inning, the first walks of the day issued by Oilman pitching. Now a payoff pitch with the bases full and 1 away. Nekraz comes back to Cummins. This is high and inside for ball 4. It forces in a run. It is now 8-0, and everybody moves up 90 feet as Cummins earns his 10th run batted in of the year by virtue of the bases loaded walk. And the only out in the inning was an infield fly roll, a ball the Oilmen actually dropped on the infield. Gino Gazzillo is the 7th Giant to bat in this elongated top of the 9th.
Might be another pinch hitter as well. So I don't think that's Gazzillo up there.
Right.
I'm trying to get a read on the number.
Now Adam Enright, after ball 1, comes to the mound to give us a little time to get it together.
Gazzillo has that distinct long hair, and I'm not seeing that here. Maybe he got a haircut between innings. That is number 30, so that's a different number.
Adam Enright to the mound. A few Giant batters headed to the barber shop, according to Leo, and we're going to have a pitching change. Pitching change coming up. That ends the day for Nekraz. Mid-batter here in the ninth. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back with more. The Giants 8, Oilmen nothing. And the base is full of Giants. We're back with more after this on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. BP's natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
We don't go to the office, we build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce.
And the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Nick Avelos will bat to continue this ninth inning. He's batting with a count of 1 ball and no strikes. Avelos facing Caleb Deal, the new pitcher for the Oilmen. Here's the 1-0, and look out. Hit by a pitch here is Avelos, and it forces in a run. So Deal nails Avelos, charge that run to Nekraz as Gladden comes in and scores. Bases remain loaded, and the Oilmen, one bright spot of the day going into this inning was the control of the pitching staff, but now that has gone away as well here in this ninth.
Yeah, that's just been a tough end of the night for the Oilmen as you were trying to put up another scoreless frame, give your bats a chance, but the walks and now a hit by pitch have really come back to hurt them. As it really wasn't it felt like with Nekraz, the command didn't become a problem until there were already runners on base. When he had less room to work with, that's when the command started to go, as maybe he was trying to hit his spots too meticulously there.
1 ball and no strikes here, the count. Barrera standing in. And this is fouled right side near the Oilman dugout, 1-1. Well, the fun thing about baseball is you never know what's going to happen. And the Giants come in at 4-26. The Oilmen at 19-15, right in the midst of the race atop the Northern League standings. The Oilmen coming off a lot of time off. You feel like they're well rested. They have a big group here tonight. They've added some players to the lineup. You thought this would be a very positive night for the Oilmen, but you simply can't play the games on paper. Here's the 1-1, high and in. No, it's a strike, and the count 1-2. And that's what's so special about baseball is you don't know what's going to happen on any given night. And even though this has not been a good night for the Oilmen, it only cost you 1 game in the standings. And you'll have a chance to turn the page and play again tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's exactly the good thing about it is you get another chance tomorrow. It's a quick turnaround. You try to build off this one, use it as a little motivation maybe, and you don't like the feeling of losing, so you want to try to shake it off as quick as you can.
Strike 3 called. Barrera caught looking, and that is the second out here in the top of the ninth inning. You can't quite close the book on Nekraz yet. It's in 2 1/3 innings, a hit, 3 walks, a strikeout. So far, 3 runs, 2 earned, but he is still responsible for 2 runners that are on base here with 2 down in the ninth, and Trey Walker standing in against Deal. Deal sets and delivers. This is way outside for a ball, trying to score on this play and doing so on a wild pitch. is Carter. He comes in and makes it 10-0 in favor of the Oilmen. Cummins goes to third, and Avelos to second on that wild pitch. 10-0 in favor of the Giants over the Oilmen, as they have scored 4 times here in the ninth.
Just a big follow-through here in the ninth inning by the Giants, putting up that 4 spot after they went scoreless a couple innings, just getting that little extra push here to really put their foot on the gas and distance themselves from the Oilmen.
Charge that run to Nekras. Here comes the 1-0. This is swung on and fisted foul into the bleachers, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike. 10-10-3. The line score for the Giants tonight, 0-3-3 for the Oilmen. This is the 9th Giant to bat in the top of the 9th inning. Here comes the 1-1. This is taken low and in for a ball. 2 balls and a strike on Walker. Walker has 2 hits. He's trying to make it a 3-hit game. A base hit could bolster the lead to a dozen. Here comes the 2-1. And look out, this is behind him, and this is going to be a wild pitch, and another run's going to score. It is 11-0 in favor of the Giants, as Avelos goes to third as well. You can now close the book on Nekras. He's charged with all 5 runs in this inning. And many of them are unearned because of that error that started the inning. 11-0 Giants. 3 balls and a strike here on Walker. And the 3-1. This is high and outside for ball 4. Walker walks, fittingly enough. And Bullock will come up, and he will be the 10th.
After the Oilman pitching staff really did a good job of limiting the free passes, that's really gone by the wayside here in the 9th inning. Just a lot of walks, and that's what's really hurt them here, as the American Giants just really doing a good job padding their lead. Talk about how they've let the Oilmen back in some games this season. They've done a good job of really keeping the door shut throughout this evening.
First pitch swing. Here's a ground ball toward first. This is picked up by Phillips. He'll step on the first base bag, and the inning ends. Bullock grounds out, and mercifully the inning is over. 5 runs in that inning for the Giants, and they do it on 1 hit. There were 2 runners left on base. We played 8.5. It's the Giants 11, the Oilmen nothing. If you haven't gone anywhere yet, you might as well stick around to the bottom of the 9th after this on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
We don't go to the office, we build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an iron worker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. BP's natural gas teams use Smart App technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
We go to the bottom of the ninth inning. It'll be Phillips, Cosenza, and Cuniff here in the ninth for the Oilmen. 11-0 Giants. There's a new pitcher on the mound. It is Aubrey Yarborough. Yarborough is on to work for Dre Gilmore's Giants. Here comes the first pitch. This is high for a ball. And the count, 1 ball and no strikes. You can close the book on Arndt. He was masterful. He did not allow a hit, Leo, over 3 shutout innings. No walks, and he struck out 2.
That's exactly what the American Giants needed, was just that stopgap reliever to go 3 innings, keep the door shut on the Oilmen, because we've seen in games between these two teams, once the Oilmen get to the bullpen, they can really distance themselves, get back in the games. That was not the case tonight, as Arndt just did a good job of keeping things scoreless.
2 balls and no strikes. The count on Brennan Phillips making his Oilman debut. He swings and cracks this one toward right center. This is going to get down for a base hit. Phillips with his first hit in an Oilman uniform as he goes the other way. It's the first Oilman base hit since the Cosenza single to lead off the 4th inning. And it goes to right center to begin this ninth, the 4th Oilman hit overall today.
And that's what they've needed here, is just to start inning off with a hit. It seemed like too many times they've been getting their base runners on with 1 or 2 outs already in the bank, so they've needed to just try to start these innings off early with these base hits.
Cosenza has a hit and has been hit by a pitch, and here he takes high and inside wild pitch as Phillips advances to second safely. 11-0 Giants as we play bottom of the ninth. Let's run it down. The Oilmen are going to see their record slip to 19-16, and the Giants will snap an 11-game losing streak tonight, and they will see their record climb to 5-26. The starters are the pitchers of record. It is Williams in position for the win, and Pricing is on the hook for the defeat. No save here this evening. Here comes the 1-0. This is taken high for a ball, 2 balls and no strikes. And the line scores look like this. The Giants, 11 runs, 10 hits, and 3 errors. The Oilmen, no runs, 4 hits, and 3 errors. 2 balls and no strikes on Cosenza. Here comes the 2-0. This is taken for a strike call in the count 2-1.
Cosenza had that hard hit single back in the 4th inning. He's someone where when he gets on a roll, he can really get going as well. He had 3 hits in his last game, scored 2 runs. Maybe looking for him to try to get another quality at bat in here at the end of this game.
Here's the 2-1. This is swung on and smashed in the air, left side foul and out of play. This may have cleared the protective netting and left, or was at least way up into that protective netting, but it was well foul. Count 2-2.
That was a good cut there by Cosenza. And for a manager, this is where you can read a lot about your players too, is how are their bats they're taking in the end of this game. Bottom of the 9th inning, down by 11. Are you still taking this at bat as if the bases are loaded in a tie game? Are you still being competitive up here? That's how you can tell a lot about what your players are made of.
2-2 fouled back to the screen. And these guys are here to try to put up some numbers and maybe impress their college coaches, to try to get better over the course of the summer. So there's a lot of objectives other than, of course, winning the game. And so although one objective of winning is probably not going to be accomplished tonight, there's still other things you can accomplish in this 9th inning.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're reporting back to your college coach. I had 2 hits. You maybe not to send in the line score that those hits might have been, in points where the game was already lost, but you finished the day with a hit, and that's still something you can report back on a positive note.
This is fouled back to the screen. The count 2-2. Yeah, the coaches from the college programs probably don't really care what the record is of a team in the summer, and that or how many games you've won and lost. They care about how their guy is progressing and developing, and that applies to the Giants as well. Their players and their programs care about the progress of their individual players, not so much what the team record is, as we hit 10 o'clock here on AM 1230 WJOB and the Oilman Broadcasting Network. The 2-2 swing and a miss, strike 3, and Cosenza is out on strikes.
Good pitch high in the zone from Yarborough there, as it had some bite to it too, getting Cosenza swinging under it for strike 3 there.
Josh Cuniff will stand in next. there can be some challenges of adding new players to the mix as well. And we saw at the beginning of the season it takes guys a little bit to get going offensively. So I think one issue tonight is that you're integrating some new players. This is low and outside for a ball. We saw Phillips get a base hit in his final at-bat of the day. Cuniff did have a hit and was hit by a pitch, but he's also grounded into a double play. And then Hedrick is 0 for 3. So sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get going. Wood bats, summer ball, new environment. 1 ball and no strikes, the count on Cuniff. And the set and the 1-0. Look out, hit by a pitch here is Cuniff as the inning continues for Hedrick, but that's a factor tonight as well.
And talking about that point, there's no real way to simulate in-game pitching. You can have someone throwing to you off the mound, you can be in the cage, but that game situation, having a pitcher throw to you when they're trying to get out, so when they're trying to work on their stuff too, you're only going to get that playing in a game like this. And for the Oilmen, sometimes when you're adding a player mid-season, he might not have faced live pitching since the college season ended, so it might take him a few at-bats to get a feel for that.
2 on with 1 away, 11-0 Giants as we play inning number 9. This is taken for a strike, and the count 0-1 on Hedrick. One out and 2 on. We'll be back tomorrow night to take on the Corn Dogs. I'll have it for you starting at 7. Here's the 0-1. This is taken high for a ball. After this one concludes, Leo will have the postgame show for you. He'll describe all the highlights of this one.
Oh, boy.
1 ball, 1 strike, the count, and there are not many from an Oilman standpoint. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runners take their leads from first and second. Hedrick trying to provide one right here. Here comes the 1-1. This is taken for a strike call in the count 1-2. A few fans reacting. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runners take their leads from first and second. Hedrick trying to reach base for the first time today. He bats with a count of 1-2. Here's the pitch from Yarborough. This is taken for strike 3 call. Upset with the call of Coe is Hedrick. I thought that final pitch was in there, and he's caught looking for the second out of the 9th inning.
That was a spot that Williams was really doing a good job of hitting early, was that outside corner right-handed hitters was just being able to hit his spot there, and that was one that a lot of Oilman hitters took looking earlier for strike 3, so you kind of have to know that that's going to be there late in this game.
Chaz Clark with 2 outs and 2 on is the last hope for the Oilmen. Here's a ground ball down the first base line, foul. It's just foul down that line, and the count is 0-1.
Chris Baker here representing the last hope for the Oilmen. That was a good one. If that was maybe an inch to the left, that could have been 2 runs across the plate, maybe a double there with his speed. But this is someone you want up in this spot too, a veteran player, someone that can show the young guys. How do you take at-bats in a losing game? Keeping your head high, 2 outs, trying to extend this game for the Oilmen.
Yeah, you're right. I said Clark there. Baker obviously is the batter standing in, a familiar face. I've only worked with him 4 years. Here comes the set and the 0-1. This is high and outside for a ball, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. He is the last hope for Northwest Indiana. He came in the game for Clark earlier on. And that was very close to being a fair ball and perhaps driving in the first Oilman run of the game. Here's Yarborough set and his 1-1 pitch. This is swung on and sprayed left side foul, and it goes to 1-2. Another nice night. It's hard to believe. July the 20th already. Summer just starting to fly by. Got to soak up and enjoy these summer nights at the ballpark while we can. 1-2 on Baker. Here's Yarborough's pitch on the way. And out time called as Baker backs away. The pitch was delivered, but it did not count. And it'll remain 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Just a well-pitched game by the American Giants. All 3 arms that they've had come in and throw have just been doing good stuff, and the Oilman hitters really just haven't seemed to have a game plan against them.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Taken for strike 3 call. As the ball game comes to an end here, as the Giants have beaten the Oilmen by a score of 11-0 here tonight. I had to wait. Wasn't real clear on the call from Patrick Coe, but he sometimes bellows out the call, and we can't hear it up here. But from the reaction of the players, it was clear that Baker was caught looking, and that's the way this one comes to a close. The Giants have beaten the Oilmen by a score of 11-0. Give credit to Dre Gilmore and his team. They came to play tonight, and they snap an 11-game losing streak in an 11-run blowout here tonight at the OC. Thanks to everybody involved in our broadcast. James Dorr, David Bork, thanks to you guys for producing and helping out with tonight's broadcast. For Leo Staudaher, Brandon Vickry saying, I hope you enjoyed. I'll talk to you tomorrow night, but please stay tuned for Leo's post-game show. It's next after the Giants beat the Oilmen 11-0 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Leo Staudaher back with you here at Oil City Stadium for the Northwest Indiana Oilmen post-game show. This was a tough one for the Oilmen as they fell to the Chicago American Giants 11-0. The American Giants going all the way up to 11 in the run column tonight, snapping an 11-game losing streak as well for their 5th win of the season. For the Oilmen, this brings their record to 19-16. They were hoping to pick up win number 20, and they'll simply just have to wait another night for that one, as American Giant pitching was really solid tonight. The Oilmen only able to string together a few hits as well. 4 hits. This was one where they weren't striking out too much until late in the game. Looking at the scorecard, there's a lot of flyouts to center field, a lot of groundouts to shortstop. They were making contact, but just weren't quite putting it in play. We saw the Oilmen, again, only those 4 hits. They reached on some errors, but it was one of those nights where he could have wanted more. Kyle Tyler had 2 walks. He reached base a pair of times. Anthony Fumagalli had a hit. Joe Cosenza had a hit. Josh Cuniff in his first game with the squad had a hit as well. So some of the new additions come in there making plays. Brennan Phillips also picked up a single. So the Oilmen looking to build off this offensively. They struck out a few times as well. Pitching-wise, Tyler Pricing got his first start in some time, going 3 innings. Jake Paymaster had a good 1-2-3 inning, 3 innings of total work. Jack Nekraz had 2 back-to-back shutout innings, and then Caleb Deal finished things off. But this is one where, for the Oilmen, you're likely going to want to forget it, move on quickly, because now you got the first-place Corn Dogs coming to town tomorrow night, so that'll be a whole different challenge. And we'll be back, same time, same place, 7 o'clock pregame, Oil City Stadium. Brandon will have pregame coming up at 7, first pitch around 7:10. The Oilmen looking for win number 20 against a red-hot Lake County team, so that'll be fun to check out. We'll see how the squad bounces back, but until then, that's all the coverage I have. Once again, your final score was American Giants 11, Oilmen 0. This is Leo Staudaher thanking you for following along on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.